From Wenzel Field at Old Metairie, it's the quarterfinals in Division 4 as the Country Day Cajuns play host to the St. Thomas Aquinas Falcons. And a pleasant good afternoon on not so pleasant of an afternoon. Ken Trahan along with the coach, Rick Gailey, from Metairie Park Country Day, where the Cajuns, the 10th seed in Division 4, host the second-seeded and undefeated St. Thomas Aquinas Falcons here. We are so glad you've joined us. Unfortunately, it is a rainy afternoon in Old Metairie. Rain has been steady and solid for over an hour now, and it has not let up. And this is a grass playing surface, which was soft to begin with, so there's no doubt that it's going to impact this game. And, Rick, it really does hurt both teams because Cameron Dantzler is a special athlete with the ball in his hands under center who's fast and quick and likes to make cuts. And Country Day runs an intricate passing game, which clearly will be impacted by the surface.
With the field conditions the way they are, it is more advantageous to participate in trench-type warfare, and neither team is equipped to do that. So there's no particular advantage. It does limit both of the teams from doing what they do best. The best part of it is, I'm always trying to look for the bright side of it, is that it's not cold, that the players actually going to have a good time playing out there, that there's going to be a little bit of sliding around. The field is not muddy, but as you mentioned, it is soft, so it's going to affect some of the play, but the players are going to have fun playing out there, and the temperature is conducive to them still playing at their best. So even though it's rainy, it's not cold, and that's a good thing.
Yep. St. Thomas Aquinas taking the field, not just their own STA banner, but a couple of American flags. Great touch for the Falcons, who come into this game with a perfect mark on the year of 11-0. They have been simply superb. They won their opening round playoff game 21-6 over Holy Savior Menard. And when you look at the balance of what they've accomplished, Rick, they beat Chalmette to start the season. They whipped Mangum, a traditional power, beat a good Bruley team, wiped out a good Hannon team, beat a good Carver team and shut them out. They took care of North Lake Christian, beat a playoff team in St. Helena Central. This is a proven commodity. They're the real deal.
When you look at their last 6 games, they've had 3 shutouts in one game against Holy Savior Menard last week, where they only gave up 6 points. So defensively, they've played very well lately. Offensively, during the course of the season, they've shown that they can be explosive. The 21 points they scored last week was the smallest amount they had scored in any game. 24 against Carver, who we know has an excellent football team. But they regularly score in the 40s and even a couple of times in the 50s. So they certainly can be explosive offensively. Very sound football team. A very senior-laden football team as well. So these Falcons from STA are quite experienced and mature. So this is their year. They certainly feel, and talking to Coach White, they certainly believe that this is their year.
SportsNoah.com is proud to bring you Prep Football presented by First NBC Bank with this Division 3 quarterfinal. Instead of Division 4, Division 3 quarterfinal. Let me correct myself. Of course, I know that. As we look forward to this battle in Division 3 here this afternoon. The loaded division, which we've talked about ad nauseum. And Notre Dame, unbelievably impressive win over Calvary Baptist last night. And Riverside, another impressive win over Newman. So you look at this division. St. Charles Catholic, a phenomenal win over Madison Prep last night. The 4th and final 4 team will be decided here today. When you talk about St. Thomas Aquinas, you start with Cameron Dantzler, the senior Mississippi State commit. Dantzler has been special for them in all phases this year. 124 carries, 1,434 yards, and 20 touchdowns. And he's passed 44 for 85 for 936 and 9 scores with only 1 interception. Even though they don't throw it a lot, he averages 21.7 yards per completion, and he's completed 52% of his passes. He's a special athlete.
Absolutely, and we had a chance to sit down and talk with him in doing Prep Recruiting Insider earlier in the year, and a very fine young man, confident in what he's doing, good experience in the program, and he is a difference maker. And as good as the skilled players have been for Country Day, they don't have a Cameron Dantzler, and he could be the difference in the game, even with the field and the conditions that they are right now.
Defensively, you have to start with Edwin Alexander, the LSU commit. He's a disruptive force, huge to begin with, but also talented. 44 tackles, 22, half of them have been for loss, which is an amazing number. 10.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 6'4", 300 pounds. Enough said.
When he feels challenged, he plays very, very well. And most of the time in his classification and now in his division, he's playing against much smaller people and doesn't play as hard when he's playing against smaller people. Is very conscious of being blocked low and tries to protect his legs. Whereas against Carver, where he had like talent, he was just maniacal. His motor was running the whole time, had an outstanding game against the Rams. So it's going to be interesting to see how hard he plays, because he is a much stronger physical presence than anyone Country Day has.
As the Cajuns take the field in the rain here at Old Metairie at Wenzel Field, let's talk about Country Day. 8-3 on the year, played in unquestionably the best district in the state. When you look at that particular league, Rick, it's been a phenomenal district. You look at those teams, all five winners in the playoffs last night, and of course heading into today. When you look at St. Charles Catholic, Riverside, the only one that lost was Newman because they played a rematch game. St. Charles Catholic a winner. West St. John knocking out Manny, the number 1 seed in 2A. It's a remarkable league, and Country Day's had a remarkable season. When you look at the victories they've been able to post, beating West St. John and beating them handily, 55-26. Also, playing Riverside very competitive, St. Charles competitive, wiped out Episcopal. And then, of course, that program-making win last week at Ouachita Christian, 42-35.
Really great job that Coach Joe Chango has done here. They had a pretty good football team before, and he's really been able to take their talents and put it together in a system that really suits the players that are here. And something that I find very, very interesting is how competitive-natured the Country Day players are. This is not what you might think of as a Country Day player. This is going back to the Wenzel family, because I coached all three of the brothers at Tulane University. Tough, competitive, work hard every day. The competitiveness of the Cajuns have served them well, and they've been good students of the Joe Chango system.
Chango in his first year, the former assistant at Jesuit at De La Salle and at St. Charles Catholic from New Jersey, where he coached as well. And you start with their quarterback, Christian Carute, 143 of 238 attempts, 2,576 yards, 26 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. Great decision maker, and he's been outstanding. St. Thomas Aquinas won the toss. They've deferred, so Country Day's going to get the ball first. No wind here to speak of, just the rain and the very soft field to deal with. Of course, the best player on the Country Day team really is Jace Griffin. 212 carries, 1,434 yards, 22 touchdowns. He's also caught 31 passes, 605 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And defensively, he's got 5 interceptions, 2 of which have been returned for touchdowns. He's a special player.
Just an outstanding play, as you mentioned, on both football, as we started with the national anthem. Just a little bit. Not too bad.
Our national anthem here at Wenzel Field. As mentioned, Country Day will get the ball first. John White has done a tremendous job at St. Thomas Aquinas over the past decade. Also serves as a terrific girls basketball coach at the school. And what a job he has done with this program. And they had pointed to this season for quite some time with the senior class that they have, because last year they were 10-2 and were outstanding. So you really could see this coming. I don't know that anybody saw this coming with Country Day, especially moving up from 1A to 2A classification and placed in Division 3 on the select side. You got all that? I hope you don't have all that in the future. Goodness gracious, I'm so sick of this. But we move on. St. Thomas Aquinas in their home whites, maroon numerals, maroon pants, white helmets, and the STA on the helmets, and Country Day and their very sharp, simple look, blue jerseys, white numerals, white helmets with the CD on them and the white pants as well. We are just about set to get this one underway. Adam Hetzinger will kick it off for Country Day. And twin receivers deep, Price Patagna, along with Jace Griffin.
It's going to be good.
Trey Harrell is back as well. They have triple safeties or triple receivers back deep.
It's going to be good to be able to tell numbers again. As you mentioned, the classic uniforms really for both schools, and it's really great to be able to actually see the numbers.
Yeah, we say it all the time. We're deeply appreciative. We're underway. Ground ball kick down the middle, fielded by a sure man who runs backwards. They'll run the muddle huddle, and they'll break it. And coming left, or rather right, with the football, and being harassed is Harrell, and he's going to go down. Good job by St. Thomas Aquinas to take care of the muddle huddle, as you will,
That's right.
on the kickoff. I've seen that one in the past quite a bit. Did not work here, and Country Day will get the ball first. And we'll start from their own 24-yard line, it appears. 1st and 10 for the Cajuns from that point. And Christian Carruth, the quarterback for Country Day, will lead his offense to the line of scrimmage. Jace Griffin, the running back. Trey Harrell, McCall Simons, Chandler Wynn, Price Patagna, the wideouts, the tight end. John Wagner up front, Thomas Pollinard, Avery Jenkins, Cale Colleen, William Nolte, and Jeremy Meyer. On first down, Carruth in shotgun. He has Griffin in the backfield with him. Man in motion across the formation left. And here's Carruth to throw deep down the sideline, and caught. What a throw! He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Country Day. First play of the game. McCall Simons, unbelievable throw in this weather. And what a catch and run. And the Cajuns lead at 6-0 on a 76-yard touchdown pass from Christian Carruth to McCall Simons. Unreal.
Come right out attacking right off the bat. The receiver comes in motion across the formation. St. Thomas Aquinas in man coverage the whole way. Lost the step as he came across the defensive formation trying to keep up with the receiver. A wheel route up the sideline and full extension on the catch.
Extra point attempt is up, and it is good. So 11:37 to play in the first quarter. Country Day 7 and St. Thomas Aquinas nothing. What an unbelievable start for the Cajuns in this game. It doesn't get any better than that. First play of the game. Wow.
Absolutely. Once again, Coach Django showing a lot of confidence in his players coming out attacking. You're going to see every kind of special play known to man. We saw that with the muddle huddle or beehive type of kickoff return. They come right out with a wheel route up the left boundary, taking a shot on the first play. I can't tell you how good the catch was. That was a fingertip catch with full extension in tough circumstances. But once again, it shows you how much confidence the Country Day players play with, and that is emulated by the confidence that Coach Django has in them, and the players really feel it.
So Country Day will kick it off, and that will be handled by Livaday. Charlie Livaday will take care of that. Twin receivers deep, not very deep. Cameron Dantzler is one of those. Get used to that. He'll do everything. Carlos Bell is the other. And here's the opening kickoff, but it's an onside kick. And Country Day is going to get it, I believe. They do. The Cajuns recover. What a start for Country Day. Coming up with it for Country Day. 22, Ben Boron. And how about this start for the homestanding Cajuns?
Right, a short-topped bouncing kick that went directly to Falcon, but bounced off of him and went backwards, and the pursuit of the Cajuns were right there to fall on the football. You can't get a much better start than that.
Unreal.
You think they might take a shot here?
You think?
I think so.
From their own 47. On first down, Carruth taking the snap, running it inside with Griffin. Griffin to midfield and bent backwards as he gets to the 49 of St. Thomas Aquinas. Picks up about 4. And Jace Griffin helps Country Day to stay on schedule with a 4-yard run. It's second down and 6 as a result. Told you about the outstanding numbers on Griffin. He's just been superb. And that'll be an interesting dynamic is can the Country Day offensive line at least get a stall or a stalemate, I should say, with this big, talented St. Thomas Aquinas defensive front. 2nd down and 6. Shotgun. Carew takes the snap. Wants to throw. He does down the middle and overshot his intended receiver, who was covered on the play. Pass intended for Chandler Wynn. Good coverage for St. Thomas Aquinas by Hunter Stanley. And it will be 3rd down and 10.
Took a shot
3rd
on
and
the
6, I should say.
Took a shot on the second play after running a counter-type play on 1st down. Right now, Cameron Danzler is playing at corner, and he's matching up with Trey Harrell all over the field.
Who is by far the best receiver on this Country Day team. 44 catches, 790 yards, and 11 touchdowns. 3rd and 6 from the St. Thomas Aquinas 49. Carew, shotgun, 4-man rush, takes the snap. He's going to throw it deep down the right sideline, incomplete. His receiver had a step, but he overshot him just a tad. Intended for Price Patagna, but a little bit overthrown. And it will be a 4th down, likely punt situation, but with Joe Chango coaching, you never know.
That's exactly right. That they may line up in a punt and do something different. He's got every phase of the game taken care of in his planning, and now he's ostensibly running out a punt team, and to get lined up and to punt quickly to minimize the return.
Dantzler drops deep to receive. Punt formation. Livaday got it off, and he hits it over everyone's head. Very good punt. Well done. And that's going to be down. There is a flag down, but it's going to be down at about the 8-yard line. But there is a flag down. It's on Country Day.
Yes, it's going to be holding. They had a good rush by St. Thomas Aquinas, and one of the second wall players in front of the punter grabbed very obviously and made it an easy call for the officials. So St. Thomas Aquinas, the Falcons, will indeed accept the penalty and make Country Day punt it again.
So that'll cost him 10. Move him back, and that was a big stop for St. Thomas Aquinas. Country Day jumped out to a 2-score lead early. Not only a sizable advantage, but their confidence level would have been soaring.
Absolutely. And they're going to take shots throughout the game because St. Thomas Aquinas has all 11 people within 5 yards of the football, so they're going to pressure the receivers.
Livaday to punt it away once more. Had a little pressure last time. And again, movement up front, so another penalty will negate this punt. This is going to be on St. Thomas Aquinas. So a 5-yard penalty against the Falcons, their first penalty. A little bit anxious.
They leaned into the neutral zone. Once the center has his hands on the ball, no one from either side can get into the neutral zone. The neutral zone is, in fact, the length of the football. And St. Thomas Aquinas Falcon leaned into it.
So once again, a 4th down and 12, and Livaday will punt. And another flag is down. Livaday's looking to throw. He's in trouble. He's going to get hit as he throws it. It's caught up at midfield. 1st down and more. Look at this. Out of bounds at the St. Thomas Aquinas 35. There is a flag down as mentioned on the play. What an unbelievable improvisation there as he got the ball to Lane Davis. But again, we'll check the flag.
We're going to see it all. I would not doubt that this was an illegal formation because the flag came out on the snap. It came out immediately from the line judge. The head linesman is on the side with the chains, which is on the visitor side. So the line judge threw his flag immediately. So and that's what they're going over with St. Thomas Aquinas, the options. They've got to bring the ball back. They've got to accept the penalty. And they could accept either one of them is what it is. I think they had 2 penalties, a block in the back, probably down the field. There's the illegal procedure. That's the illegal formation. Didn't have enough people on the line of scrimmage, I would think. And there's a holding penalty that's being declined. So right now, uncharacteristically, several mistakes in a row. Both of these teams usually don't make those kinds of mistakes. That just shows you the pressure that's on right now. And I'm sure that both teams will settle in very quickly.
Second penalty, 15 yards on the Cajuns. And we said this before, but once again, Charlie Livaday will try to punt. This has been the longest punt I've ever seen in terms of getting it done. Takes the snap, punts it away. Dantzler watches it. Going to bounce inside the 30, inside the 25, and it will be down at about the 21. That's where STA will take over. 10-14 to play in the first quarter. It seems like we've been playing a long time, and we've taken all of 1 minute and 46 seconds off the clock. I think we're going to be here a while.
We might be here a while. The Falcons benefited by 13 yards in the multiple exchanges of penalties and punts and rolling balls, and I think it was at the 8-yard line the first time.
And they finally get to run their first play from scrimmage. Cameron Dantzler will line up in shotgun. Single setback with him behind him. It's Brad Lewis. On first down, Dantzler keeping it. And Dantzler's going to be hit by Jace Griffin at about the 25-yard line. So Dantzler picks up 4. It's going to be second down and 6. Cameron Dantzler on the keeper. Runs the read quite a bit, Rick.
Yes, indeed. And that was part of it there, that he rode the single running back out of the shotgun, pulled it, and just followed him. So you wound up with a lead play with your best player following a lead blocker. We'll see a lot of that during the day.
Second down and 6. Motion across the formation. Dantzler takes the snap. Straight keeper right. Blockers in front. Cuts back and crosses the 25 to about the 29, maybe the 30. Looks to be about a yard short of the first down. So it's going to be third down and 1. A gain of 5 yards for Dantzler and a 3rd and 1 for the Falcons.
Plain old right out of Newt Rockney's playbook, power sweep to the right, or really similar to the Green Bay sweep for the 7 blocks of granite that Vince Lombardi played for at Fordham University.
Rain has fallen steadily here since about 11:40 this morning. Third down and 1. Motion right. Dantzler with Lewis behind him. Takes the snap, gives to Lewis. First down and more. He's loose. Lewis breaks a tackle. Lewis is out to midfield. He has a first down, crossing midfield to the Country Day 48 and a first down. That's a gain of 22 yards for Brad Lewis.
And Brad Lewis is going to be an important player throughout the day because you know Cameron Dantzler is going to attract a lot of attention. And Brad Lewis has got to have a good game if the Falcons are going to be successful.
Lewis has been outstanding this season. 1,129 yards rushing and 16 touchdowns. Shotgun, pistol formation, make it the rifle formation with running back next to him as well. He's going to give to Lewis. Lewis running hard, bangs down to about the 45-yard line before he's stopped by Jake Gitter. It's going to be second down from the 45-yard line.
And there's a yellow hanky on the other side of the field. No, it isn't. I'm sorry.
Second down and 7 yards to go on the 3-yard gain by Lewis. Officials, by the way, from the South Louisiana Officials Association. L.J. Strohmeyer, the referee. Second down and 7. Here's Dantzler. Accepting the snap and faking. Straight keeper left. Dantzler looks for the block. He gets by 1, and then another flag comes down away from the play. Way on the other side of the field. Again, way away from the play. A gain of about 3 for Dantzler. But again, flags are down. Actually, 1 on each side of the field. Usually against the offense in these situations, Rick.
Yeah, that's going to be a formation error as well. It's an illegal formation when the 2 wing officials on either side of the line, either sideline of the line of scrimmage, have signals to each other to tell them how many eligible receivers they have on that side. And so in this case, that's why both officials threw the flag, because their communication told them they did not have enough people on the line of scrimmage.
I think Joe Chango is going to accept the penalty.
Sure.
And he will.
Yep.
So it'll be the second penalty on St. Thomas Aquinas for 10 yards. Second and 12 from midfield as a result. 8:04 to play in the first quarter. Country Day up 7-0. Ken Trahan, Rick Gailey with you from Wenzel Field in Metairie. Tight formation, double wing. Dantzler the snap, rolling left, stopping, has time, throw back pass the other way. That's caught, but it's played well by Country Day, and a short gain of about 3 yards on the play as the pass was complete to Mason Miller. A gain of about 3, so it's going to be third down and long.
Nicely designed misdirection passing play, but very well played by the Cajuns. Everybody was right where they were supposed to, so that even though the pass was complete, the tacklers were right there ready to make a play.
Third down from the 48-yard line. And 10 yards to go. So they're back to the original line of scrimmage where the sequence started. Double wing, man in motion left across the formation is Stanley. And here is Dantzler rolling left. Dantzler looking, stopping. He's going to heave it deep. He has a man down there, and it's overthrown. His receiver had beaten his man, but the pass was too far as he tried to get it to Brady Becerra, his top receiver on the year, with 20 catches. But the pass incomplete. Cannot be easy to grip the ball, Rick.
That's correct, but it shows you the arm strength of Cameron Dantzler. I'm very, very surprised in that circumstance when he got contained broke that he did not keep the ball up the sideline. That could be something to look forward to as we move on in the future, that it was fairly easy to break contain that time, and that's something that's going to concern Country Day.
Did have an open receiver. Will Hetzinger to punt it away. Trey Harrell was deep for Country Day. Harrell, an outstanding athlete, dangerous return man. Key in these situations, ball security. Snap, the catch, the kick, and then the receiver being able to handle the ball. Good pass from center, and the kick away. And Harrell does let it bounce. And this is going to take a good St. Thomas Aquinas bounce, and they're going to have him pinned back at the 8-yard line. That's where Country Day will start with 7:27 to play in the first quarter, leading St. Thomas Aquinas 7-0.
You see some hesitation by both of the punt returners so far to even try to attempt a fair catch of shorter kicks, and that's probably judicious right now. The ball is rolling further, though, than you would think in the soft field conditions and the rain that's coming down, so there's still a bit of firmness to the field, and the player traction has been very good so far, so that's an encouraging sign.
Cajuns scrimmage from their own 8. Carute will be in shotgun, per usual. Takes the snap and runs a pitch to Griffin left. They've got that contained. He's going to be hit and drilled out of bounds, and nowhere to go for Griffin. So Griffin picks up 2. Well-defensed play, though, and it's 2nd and 8.
The Falcons are certainly going to challenge the Cajuns at the line of scrimmage. Everybody is up close in position to immediately put pressure on the Cajuns, and there was no place for Jace Griffin to go on that toss sweep.
2nd and 8 from the 10-yard line. Snap it. And a counter play left with Griffin. He's going to be hit and bottled up for a loss. White shirts all over him as they knocked him straight back. Outstanding play for St. Thomas Aquinas defensively. Made initially by 94 Trey Jackson. It's a loss of 4, and it's going to be 3rd and 12.
Great defensive front play that time. Squeezed it first as the play started out to the right and then came back to the left in a counter play. Squeezed it first, made the ball bounce, and then the pursuit was right there to shut him off.
So it is 3rd down and 12 from the 6, and Griffin, Carute throws complete over the middle, but that's going to be short of a first down as the pass was complete to McCall Simon, who had the touchdown earlier. But he picks up only 6, and it's going to be a punting situation. Good job by the St. Thomas Aquinas defense, and they should come out of this with very good field position.
They've flipped the field position around, it certainly appears. We'll see how Cameron Dantzler handles this particular punt, but that was a play that St. Thomas Aquinas played zone, kept the ball in front of him, kept him well short of the first down.
Lividay punt formation. Takes the snap. Got it out of there. Kicks it away from Dantzler, but this one stops. That one hit the ground and plugged right at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Falcons will take over with great field position at the Country Day 35 with 5:32 to play in a slow-moving first quarter and a 7-0 lead for the Cajuns.
I think things will pick up as we go along, Kim, but you're exactly right. There's been a lot of stops along the way here, but I'm certainly looking forward to the pace of play picking up as we go forward.
So a short field to work with for Dantzler and his offense, starting at the 35. On first down. Dantzler the snap, and the mesh isn't there. He does keep it, and he's going to get some yards out of it. Broke a tackle, still on his feet, gets to the outside, shows you the athletic ability here. Cameron Dantzler, just an outstanding job, but there's another flag down on the play. Picked up 6 or 7, but hold everything. Not sure what the call is.
I didn't catch that signal. Here we go. We're going to maybe get a repeat here. But that shows the...
Here we go.
Here we go. Dead ball. illegal shift.
Illegal shift. Yeah. Wow. I mean, we're getting a lot of illegal formations and shifts in this game. This is actually a major penalty.
Yeah, that's not...
Back to the 41. It is a 15-yard penalty against the Falcons, which really hurts them. And I think it's an unsportsmanlike after the play. That's what the call was. Unsportsmanlike conduct after the play.
Okay. Yes.
A 6-yard gain on the play. And now second down from the 40.
That was an interesting signal. I didn't get much of a chance to interpret that one, but that has to be the penalty. 2nd and 15. Snap into Dantzler. They run an end around to Lewis. Got hit in the backfield. He goes down. Great penetration for Country Day. As Lewis said, no chance because number 20, Michael Hickey, messed up the play. Really great play by Hickey there. Got penetrations. They were trying to block down on him and pull both guards to lead Lewis around the corner. But Hickey was going to have none of it as he penetrated into the backfield, defeated his block, and not only forced the ball carrier deeper, but also wrapped him up in the backfield for a big loss.
So back to the 47-yard line. They're going the wrong way. It's going to be third down and 22 yards to go for St. Thomas Aquinas. Shotgun Dantzler. Rolling to the right, strong side, evades the defender and throws, and that's caught down about the 36, well short of a first down as he got it to Stanley. But it's going to be a fourth down and a four-down situation here. They'll go for it, I'm sure.
Unless they really want to try to pin him deep, that would be the only thing in this type of condition that on fourth and long, I don't know if you want to take the risk of getting them out of the hole if you fail to make the first down.
So it's fourth down from the 36 and 11 yards to go, and they will go for it, as I surmised. Dantzler has Lewis with him in the backfield. Takes the snap, and he rolls left. Dantzler stops. Dantzler steps up. He's going to run, it appears. Tries to cut back. Avoids one. Avoids two. But goes down short of the first down. Great job by the Cajun defense. Brought down at the 27-yard line. Short by a couple of yards. And the Country Day Cajuns have held.
Yeah, and that's what I would have been concerned with. The 35-yard line in conditions like this is not quite four-down territory because you're not going to punt the ball into the end zone. You've got a great opportunity to keep the Cajuns pinned deep. Now you've let them out of the hole to where they can run their whole offense from this particular area. So a risk that Coach John White thought was worthwhile, but the Cajuns are very happy to have the ball now where they've got it.
I think I'm going to get rid of the glasses, man.
Yeah, that's it.
First and 10. I can't see, man. Heck of a deal. Here's Carute. Takes the snap. Throws over the middle. Caught by Harrell. In space. Nice move. Still on his feet. Trey Harrell with a first down and more. Trey Harrell all the way across midfield. What a throw and catch. Harrell, I said midfield. He's across the 45. So he picks up a gain of, looks like 18 to the 44 and a first down for Country Day.
Really nice job by Carute to even catch the snap as the ball was wide to his left and he reached out with one hand and corralled it in. They're going to throw the ball early on early downs because they know they're going to get man coverage. They're going to have lots of crossing patterns and rubs in the secondary.
Already 100 yards in passing for Carute, who throws this one backwards, but the play was blown dead, and that's probably a good thing for Country Day. That was a backwards pass. That would have been a fumble.
That was a big hit waiting to happen, but there's a false start with them blowing the whistle as quickly as they did.
Legal motion on the Cajuns, their third penalty for 20 yards. Each team with 3 penalties. Quite a few flags here in the first quarter. 3:22 to play in the quarter. 7-0 is the lead for Country Day. Rain continues to fall consistently, steadily, in aggravating fashion for everyone.
And there's a free safety, actually playing with the safety.
Here's Carute on 1st and 15, throwing too tall, and it's going to be intercepted at midfield. This is Stanley to the 40. Stanley is inside the 40. Stanley's down near the 30. First big turnover of the game goes the way of St. Thomas Aquinas. Hunter Stanley with the interception.
And he was the free safety. That was the first time This series is the first time they did anything other than have 11 people within 5 yards of the football. Hunter Stanley was there in center field. They were still playing man coverage underneath it, but the ball got tipped up in the air right into the waiting arms of Hunter Stanley, and he knew what to do with it as soon as he got his hands on it. Great field position now for St. Thomas Aquinas. They really need to make something happen to build up their confidence.
29-yard line is the field position. Short field again. Remember, they had one previously, did not score. 1st and 10 from the Cajuns' 29. Dantzler takes the snap, fakes, keeps it right, stutter steps, avoids the defender. Good pursuit, though, and flags down everywhere. Boy, I mean, there are flags all over this field.
That's right. That's going to be some type of illegal block
in the back,
like.
yeah.
Flags were coming from all different directions. Very obvious foul. Lots and lots of errors. You would have thought by now that teams would be settling in a bit and playing more like they have coming into the game. But the initial nervousness, Ken, doesn't appear to have worn off at this particular point.
They're kind of playing like the weather.
Right, that's right.
10-yard penalty. It's 1st and 20 from the Cajuns' 39. And with all the flags, clock stops every step of the way. From the 39-yard line, shotgun, Dantzler. Blitz coming, it appears. Now they back out of it. Dantzler rolls right. Throwback pass coming to Lewis, and it's incomplete. Incomplete pass. It was not Lewis, actually. It was actually for number 9. It was Ralph Haynes, who's just back from injury. Pass was a little bit too tall for Haynes, and it's 2nd and 20.
Had things set up fairly well with him drifting out of the backfield to the left, at play, run action to the right, pulling up, throwing back to get a screen. Fairly well set up, but you got to make contact. You got to make connection. You can't overthrow it.
2nd and 20 from the 39-yard line. Motion left across the formation. That's Bell. Here's Dantzler. Stopping. Now pressured. Steps up. Avoids 1. Avoids 2. He avoids 3. He's still going. Dantzler with a special run. Dantzler still going. Finally brought down. That's what Cameron Dantzler is all about. Fabulous run. And he's got a 1st and goal for St. Thomas Aquinas. What an effort that was.
It looked like Michael Hickey was going to have a shot on him in the backfield, but the play is only just starting when a defender comes to Cameron Dantzler, and he certainly showed his great ability in the open field there to make people miss and to run strongly at the end and finish it off in a positive fashion. So an important 1st down. Now we have 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 10 on a 29-yard run by Dantzler. Takes the snap. Runs Haynes. He's got a hole. Haynes avoids 1. Haynes powers to the end zone, and he is down to the 1-yard line. So Haynes nearly gets in as he pounds for 9, and here is St. Thomas Aquinas knocking on the door.
Very strong inside run that time by Haynes. Well blocked internally. That's the first time that any runner internally has had any room whatsoever.
2nd and goal from the 1. Dantzler will feed Haynes again and reward him, and he is in for the touchdown. Touchdown. No, he's not. They did not say he was in. Everyone else signaled it, but Haynes did not get in. So it's going to be 3rd and goal from the, I guess, about the 1 or 2 yard line. Did not get in.
It's very, very close, and it looked like he was in. The reaction of the players certainly led to that, and the officials raise up a single arm indicating that the ball is down at that point.
Right.
So it's really close.
3rd and goal from the 1, and now play stopped momentarily. Like to tell you that things have gotten better here, but they haven't. Rain is still, it's coming straight down, which means it's not going anywhere. 3rd and goal from the 1. Here's Dantzler. Sneaking it, pushing forward, waiting for a signal. Haven't gotten it yet. And he did not get in. And it's 4th and goal from inside the 1. Wow.
It's got to be really close because Dantzler's indicating that he's laying in the end zone. What's going on?
4th and goal from inside the 1. And we'll get a stoppage and play, a timeout with 40 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 7-0 Cajuns, but the lead is precarious at this point.
Yeah, STA called timeout with 40 seconds left in the first quarter. It's got to be really, really close because there was a little bit of a push there. And Dantzler, for the first time, was under center and tried to drive his way into the end zone. I wouldn't doubt that they do the same thing again.
So both sides talk it over. I can't imagine you wouldn't just sneak it again. I couldn't agree with you more.
Absolutely. Gabe Stant is the center, number 61. That's Mike Stant, who played at Brother Martin, Pat Stant's nephew, as a matter of fact. And he's a 300-pounder at center, so there is a bit of a physical mismatch there if Gabe can get down low enough and get a push. So that's your best player, Cameron Dantzler. You don't necessarily want to take the ball off the line of scrimmage to try to drive it into the end zone.
So it is 4th and goal inside the 1. Good look at where the ball's spotted there. That ball's at about the foot and a half yard line. Tight formation, and Dantzler operates on a shotgun, interestingly enough. Takes the snap, runs it inside, and he's stuffed. Lewis fights forward. Did he get in or not? He did not get in. What a goal line stand for Country Day.
Great technique by the defensive front, getting penetration, keeping their pads under the pads of the blockers. Great penetration in the backfield. They ran it out of shotgun, handed it to the tailback deep, and the penetration of the Cajuns in their goal line charge really stood up and kept them out of the end zone. That was 3 consecutive plays inside the 1 yard line, Ken. A classic goal line stand.
Remarkable job by Country Day. Now the Cajuns are in the soup, so to speak. They're going to have to start from their own 1. And it looks like they're going to line up under center this time with Carruth. Might have a sneak here. Trying to run it and just getting forward. Hickey, a yard or two, but I think he got illegal motion on Country Day.
That's exactly what the initial indication is. Illegal motion. The side was waving of a single arm. So they're trying to get a decision from St. Thomas Aquinas what they want to do with it.
Might have been a yard gain, so I think they'll decline it.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, because the penalty would have been a half a yard, if that.
Exactly.
I'm going to get it to the 3, so it's 2nd and 8. Gain of 2 on the play, officially, for Hickey.
And so, because you keep Country Day behind schedule after that short run, and a 1-foot penalty isn't one that you need to accept.
No. 2nd and 8 from the 3. And he wants to throw, and Carruth's going to throw for Harrell. Nobody home. Good coverage. Pass goes incomplete. Good job defensively by Edward Cooper of St. Thomas Aquinas. They took a shot, and now it's 3rd and 8.
The coverage now of St. Thomas Aquinas is much softer than it was in the beginning of the game. So the shots down the field are being covered much better than they were early in the game because there's not any pressure on the receiver.
So 3rd and 8 from the 3-yard line.
But you got full pressure this time. Both corners and the free safety are up.
Here's Carruth taking the snap and quick. Oh, my, it's blocked. And this ball's rolling. He still got it. Now coming right is Griffin. He fumbles it in the air. And who's got it? Wow. Looks like Country Day got it back. What a strange play that was. The punt was blocked. Jace Griffin alertly picked it up and recovered it. And now it's 4th down because it was only 3rd down, Rick.
That's exactly right.
Unreal. What a weird circumstance that was. Tried a quick kick and got it blocked.
Because the ball did not cross the neutral zone. If the ball would have crossed the neutral zone, the ball would have turned over on downs as it was. But because the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage, did not cross the neutral zone, it was just another play.
And that's the end of the first quarter with our score. Country Day 7, St. Thomas Aquinas nothing. Back with our second quarter in a moment here at SportsNola.com as part of the first NBC Bank presentation. Back in a moment. Ken Trahan, Rick Gailey, Wenzel Field, Metairie, 7-0 Country Day. As the second quarter begins in this Division III quarterfinal matchup, Livaday will punt it away from deep in his own end zone.
Going to be a series with 2 punts.
No question.
A quick kick and now a regular punt, maybe.
And he better be quick on this one. Good pass from center. Time to punt it away and does. Again, he punts a ground ball. Bouncing. Dantzler lets it bounce. It's going to die at about the 40. So St. Thomas Aquinas will have the ball on the plus side of the field for the third time in the game, and they've yet to score.
Exactly. That goal line stand really has given the Cajuns some confidence, but you're seeing the defense of St. Thomas Aquinas acquiring some confidence as they go forward. The last couple of series have done an exceptional job with the defense stopping the Cajuns. Now let's see if they're making some adjustments to get Dantzler loose. He's coming out an unbalanced line right off the bat.
On 1st and 10 from the Country Day 40. Snap it, fake it. He's going to run it right. Trying to get the corner. He's going to be hit and drop for a loss. What a job by Country Day defensively to contain and then finish. Patrick Kern was the first man there for the Cajuns, and Chandler Wynn finished him off.
Excellent job of defense by the Cajuns. That's the Falcons' version of the buck sweep, faking in one direction, pulling both guards, in this case to the right to where the unbalanced line was, but the Cajuns defeated the blocks, threw him for a loss.
Loss of 2, 2nd down and 12 from the 42. Snap it, run it inside, and there's Wynn to make the hit on Lewis, who does fight forward. Gets to about the 39 for a gain of 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 9.
This Cajun defense has really been impressive. Even when they bent a little bit in the last series, came up with a very strong goal line stand. You could see internally, they're not very big on the inside, but they stay low, use great technique, and they're strong as well. They've really held up well except for one play on the inside.
3rd and 9 from the 39. Dantzler, with the blitz coming, is going to keep it. He's going to be tackled at the 35. So it's going to be 4th down and 5 after the gain of 4 on the play. And a good job by the Country Day defensive end to crash down and make the play, John Wagner. So it's 4th and 5, and they'll go for it again.
Yeah, this makes more sense, I believe, than the previous 4th down attempt. Very manageable 4th and 5, especially when you have an explosive player like Dantzler. However, the Cajuns defensively have been in the right place the whole time, very well schooled, very well rehearsed and disciplined. Now we've got trips to the left side. We've got a real unbalanced formation.
On 4th and 5, Dantzler takes the snap, rolls left, stopping, looking, throwing, deep down the field. Man there, diving catch made. What a throw and what a catch. Hunter Stanley, beautifully done. 1st and goal, St. Thomas Aquinas.
Another great play by Hunter Stanley. Laid out parallel to the ground on a soft field. Wet conditions, rain is coming down a little slower but still steadily. What an incredible catch that was in these circumstances.
1st and goal at the 3-yard line for St. Thomas Aquinas. They were down there on their last possession. 3 shots from the 1 did not get in. Now at the 3. And the big back Haynes is in once again. Ralph Haynes just back from injury. 1st and goal. Snap it. Haynes barrels hard into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Thomas Aquinas. And the Falcons are a point away from a tie.
Very well blocked play on the right side of the offense. Coming out on the ball, you had an unblocked man coming right off the edge, but the size was just too great. Broke that arm tackle and drove it into the end zone.
And now the extra point coming. 4-play drive, 40 yards. Extra point attempt here by Adam Hetzinger. Snap, spot, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 9:21 to play in the first half, let's start over. We're tied. St. Thomas Aquinas 7 and Country Day 7.
We have seen a couple of just amazing catches with the moisture that's out there on the field. The first catch by Country Day, full extension to be able to get the ball on his fingertips and score on their first offensive play. And then that catch right there to get that series going at 4th and 5, sprinting to the left, throwing back to the right, full extension by Hunter Stanley. Just some really good play. If these two teams will work out their penalty situation, we're going to see some big plays, some very good plays throughout the game.
SportsNOLA.com will have more live playoff football presented by First NBC Bank for you next weekend. Stay with us here at Sports NOLA for more details on our live playoff coverage as the road to the Dome continues. So a 4-play, 40-yard drive and a 3-yard touchdown run by Ralph Haynes. Extra point by Hetzinger ties the game at 7. And now Hetzinger to kick it off. Country Day with 3 receivers deep. And they hit this one deep down the middle to Griffin. He's got time from the 10, 15, 20 with momentum to the 25 to the 30. Nice cutback. Griffin to the 35, maybe the 36 with a good return. Ball came up, but he was stopped.
Right. That was the first time that Jace Griffin had a chance in the open field. Did a nice job to get it out to the 35-yard line, but so far, Jace, who has been their most consistent player during the course of the season, has not been much of a factor.
And this is the lightest the rain has been over the past 2 hours. Still just a slight drip, but it's a lot better than it's been.
Umbrellas are down on the sidelines. That's how we can count the number of umbrellas to see how strong the rain is coming down.
I'm still leaving our equipment covered for the time being. 1st and 10 until I see a trend.
Exactly.
From the 35. Under center, Carute. Pitch play left to Griffin. Got a nice kick-out block. Fights ahead for about 5 to the 40. Got that good kick-out block initially and got turned north and south. Picks up 5. That's his most effective run thus far because Griffin has just 5 carries for 8 yards, and he's usually tremendous in that regard.
Exactly. That's, I believe, might be his first significantly positive play with a 5-yard gain there. They got to find some way to get their best play of the football in some space. 2nd
and 5 from the 40-yard line. Snap it. Same play the other way. This time he's in trouble, tripped and dropped for a loss. Great penetration. 44 Hayes Perilou was there to get him on the ground for a loss of 2 to the 38.
Nice job by Perilou there as a defensive end. Got penetration up the field and looked like Griffin was going to be able to break contain, but Perilou was having none of it. Got a hand on his ankle and got him tripped up in the backfield.
3rd and 7 from the 38. Carute will operate out a shotgun here. Blitz coming. Takes the snap, pump fakes. Deep down the sideline, Harrell! He's gone! Nobody's going to catch Trey Harrell. No flags. Touchdown. Country Day Cajuns, 62 yards. And the Cajuns are back on top.
A hitch-and-go route by Harrell on the right sideline against the best player for St. Thomas Aquinas, Cameron Danzler. Danzler bit on the quick fake, and Harrell was wide open up the boundary. Beautiful throw with some touch. Caught it in stride, and that was that. Double moves are going to continue to be effective as long as they can give Carute time to be able to take advantage of that because of the man coverage.
Extra point attempt is up, and it is no good. Remember that. Missed it. 7:51 to play in the first. Country Day 13 and St. Thomas Aquinas 7.
An excellent plan of attack so far. That was a critical play. Country Day had not made a first down in the last several series. They needed something to really get their momentum going back up again, and that was it. The quick fake to the outside, a quick pump fake to the right side by Carute, and then when Harrell turned it up the boundary, they had put a fork in Cameron Danzler. He was done on that particular play. Just a matter of whether the contact would be made in the connection, and it was beautifully.
That's twice that they've located wide open receivers deep.
That's the possibility of that occurring is going to be consistent because on most plays it's going to be pressure man to man, and when you can attack their best player, the whole defense starts to gain some doubts as well, and that's exactly what happened there. Harrell on the outside, the best perimeter player against the best player for St. Thomas Aquinas. The Cajuns won that matchup.
With 7:51 to play in the half, 13-7. Cajuns on top, and Livaday to kick it off. And he kicks this one short. On the run, though, fielded by Dantzler with room. Now around the Dantzler by Carlos Bell, and he's out of bounds with good field position as he crosses the 40 to about the 41, and that's very good field position for St. Thomas Aquinas, but they've had great field position throughout.
You could not have hoped for better field position than they've had, and better field position when they're still in the game. Because not only do they give up a touchdown on the very first offensive play of the game, but they lost an onside kick. So that Country Day had the better field position starting off. St. Thomas Aquinas has battled back from that, and their field position's been exquisite since that time.
From the 41, Dantzler out of shotgun with Haynes behind him. On first down, takes the snap, gives to Haynes, dives hard into a pile and doesn't get much. Perhaps a yard for Haynes. It's going to be 2nd down and 9.
Just see piles of players on the line of scrimmage because the Country Day linemen are staying very, very low and making it difficult to be knocked off the football, pad under pad, and getting a good push in the backfield. They've been very effective in their internal defense.
2nd down and 9 from the 42. As we approach the 7-minute mark to play in the first half. 13-7, Country Day on top. Quarterfinals, Division III. Stanley motions left, trip set that way. Dantzler rolling that way. Looking under pressure, steps up, reverses field, throws the other way, wide open, caught, Lewis, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Brad Lewis. Big play, Dantzler to Lewis, 58 yards. We're tied at 13.
The game is just starting when Cameron Dantzler starts to scramble as he was moving to the left. A good initial reaction by the Cajuns. Reversing his field, he found an uncovered receiver and got it to him. Made a huge, huge play up the right sideline. Gets the Falcons right back in the action.
And now to take the lead, the extra point attempt by Hetzinger. Out of the hold of Stanley. Whistles blow. Play stops. Illegal substitution, it appears.
Yes, they
on
had
Country
12
Day.
people on the field.
So they get the 12th man off.
And we've had a lot of this so far. A lot of whistles and a lot of standing around.
So this taking a while to get this extra point attempt off. Again, Country Day missed their last extra point attempt, so a chance for the Falcons to claim the lead here. Good snap, spot down, kick is up, and he has made it. So St. Thomas Aquinas claims its first lead of the game with 6:48 to play in the half. Falcons 14, Country Day 13.
The explosive nature of both teams have been evident. If they can avoid the penalties, that has really stalled things for both teams in the certainly through the first quarter. If they start eliminating those, you see the potential for big plays everywhere. As when St. Thomas Aquinas has the ball, as soon as there's pressure on Cameron Dantzler, then the play is just starting, as he's shown a couple of times, and certainly no better than the last play. As some umbrellas are getting popped open again.
Not good.
A little, at least it might have given.
Oh, no, it's coming down again. I'm looking at it. I was getting confident for a moment, starting to uncover a few things. 2-play, 59-yard drive, and a 58-yard touchdown pass. Brad Lewis from Cameron Dantzler. And St. Thomas Aquinas takes a 14-13 lead at the 6:48 mark of the first half. And you're starting to get the feeling that you're going to need at least 30 to win this game.
That's what it certainly looks like, because the explosive plays so far have just been outstanding. So it might be the last defense standing. Who's going to get the next stop could gain an advantage.
No question. Here's the kick on the ground. Bouncing. Harrell gets it at the 20. Running right with speed to the 30. Got a block. 35. Looking for the cutback. 40. Nice run by Harrell. Outstanding effort all the way up to the 49-yard line. While you try to keep it away from him, you kick it on the ground, and he still gets a very good return.
the Cajuns know how to get the ball to their best players, especially in the kicking situations. We saw that on the first play with a short kick that they turned around, got in the muddle huddle type of situation to get it to Harrell. And here the same thing happened this time. The front line let the ball bounce all the way to him. He handled it cleanly and got it out close to midfield.
Great opportunity for Country Day, their best starting field position of the game, at their own 48-yard line officially. Snap it, fake it, throw it. Harrell caught it. He's going to be bottled up. So no gain. Harrell tackled immediately by guess who? Cameron Dantzler.
They tried to peel him off with a blocker, but Dantzler was having no part of it. He knocked the blocker right back into Harrell and made the tackle as well. He showed some outstanding reaction, but also strength to be able to finish that play off.
2nd down and 10 from the 48. Carruth studies his wristband. Love the play clocks in this field. They're beautifully situated and easy to see in the end zone. Running inside, Griffin stacked up and stopped, driven straight back. Great defensive penetration, and blowing that play up was Edwin Alexander. He just got tremendous push inside, knocking the inside offensive lineman straight back, and then the play made, and nowhere to go for Griffin. Back to the 47, a loss of 1. It's 3rd and 11.
Alexander is the LSU commitment who is fully capable of doing that on every play, and he does it usually against superior opponents. When he doesn't play as well against smaller people who get down around his legs, he's not very comfortable with that, but that time he clogged up the entire inside.
3rd and 11 from the 47. Low snap, fields it. Carruth's looking. He's throwing. Wheel route again, and it is dropped. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Chandler Wynn slaps himself on the helmet, as that was a well-thrown ball by Carruth.
A little rub type of action between twin receivers, the outside receiver, getting in the way a little bit. Not a pick route, not anything illegal, but two receivers crossing each other against man coverage. Nice touch on the pass, gave him a chance to jump up and make a tough catch, but the ball hit the turf.
Livaday to punt. Dantzler is deep. He's kicked it away from him every time thus far, and he will do so again. Bouncing, Country Day style. And it's going to be down at about the 22 or 3 yard line. So with 5:03 to play in the half, Falcons get it back with a 14-13 lead.
Very smart method of punting the football, and that's one of the hazards of having a single safety back to catch punts, because now you've got 2/3 of the field to be able to punt the ball where he cannot possibly catch it. That time the ball was on the right hash. Dantzler lined up right in the middle of the formation. You kick it to the other hash, and there's no chance of a return.
It's going to be the 26-yard line officially. That's where the Falcons will start with Dantzler in shotgun. Lewis behind him, who had the big play on their last possession. Drops the snap, picks it up, and he's going to get yardage because he's that kind of athlete. Cameron Dantzler forward right near the first down, close to it. Took something that could have been a big negative and turned it into a nice positive. Gain of 9.
The play is only starting when it looks like it's discombobulated. That time the snap was low. The play looked like it was botched from the beginning. There was pressure coming from all sides. That's when the play is just beginning.
2nd down and 1 at the 35. And the whistle sound before the snap.
That time they were taking Dantzler and putting him in motion out to the left and snapping it to his running back mate in the backfield. It looked like they were going to try to get the ball to Dantzler out on the perimeter.
So a stoppage on the clock, timeout with 4:26 to play in the half. And a 14-13 lead for St. Thomas Aquinas. Along with Rick Gailey, I'm Ken Trahan. We're glad you joined us at SportsNola.com. And we remind you that SportsNola.com is thanking the Rent Zone for their support of our prep football coverage. For everything from small tools to large earth movers, let the Rent Zone provide what your project needs. Call their boutique office at 985-758-5006 or visit therentzone.net. Adam Bryant taking care of business with us here this afternoon. And I like Adam's scenario, the way he situated things here. I mean, look at this.
He's done this before. He has his own personal computer umbrella.
How about that? It's a new invention. He should make billions on it.
We've got some possibility here. We need to sell him some advertising spots.
That's impending. 2nd and 1 at the 35. Snap it. Interior run for a first down and more. Lewis breaks it to the outside. Broke a tackle. He's loose. He might go. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Lewis is going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. What a run by Lewis. Remarkable athlete. There is a flag down at about the 33.
Whoop.
Now they throw it back a whole bunch. So it's going to be a spot foul for an illegal block. Lewis will get a significant gain, but then it's going to go back as well. Remember, it was starting from the 35, and L.J. Strohmeyer will give the illegal block in the back signal.
Well blocked internally, and that block was well down the field. Totally unnecessary, and that gets to be more than a 10-yard penalty from the spot because the ball was inside the 10 before, and now the ball is going to be in the minus end of the field, around the 49-yard line or so. So that is a huge, huge penalty.
Yep. It's the 5th penalty on St. Thomas Aquinas, 45 yards. So Lewis gets credit for a 25-yard run and then the 10-yard penalty, but it would have been a lot bigger. Instead, they operate 1st and 10, does St. Thomas Aquinas from their own 48. Dantzler runs it inside with Haynes, has room. Haynes runs over a tackler, and they're starting to impose their will up front on Country Day as Haynes is right near the first down marker at about the 40-yard line, which is where he needed to get, and they should move the chains here. That's a first down on the gain of 11 for Haynes.
They're definitely starting to wear down the inside of the Country Day defensive line where there is quite a size differential.
From the 40 on first down, Dantzler takes the snap, runs the read, keeps it, dances into the secondary, hit hard, but he still fights forward and gets close to the first down again, and a late flag comes out. Wow.
We've seen enough of those.
Right at the end of the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Country Day will be added onto the play. So Dantzler picks up about 9. And now the penalty is going to make it a lot more.
There was a little bit of extracurricular activity in the pile, and that was indicated.
That will cost Country Day 15, their 4th penalty for 35 yards. And this will end up at the 16-yard line. And St. Thomas Aquinas in the red zone once more, leading by a point.
Number of penalties thrown so far, not indicative of how well prepared these teams are. That's certainly out of their character.
From the 16, Dantzler, the snap. Runs Haynes. Haynes is in the secondary. Haynes is still fighting. He battles down to about the 7. Well, he's a load. He gets downhill. It's hard to stop him.
There are several plays that St. Thomas Aquinas uses that are very wing T-like, and that's what they're getting in right now with the fullback directly behind the quarterback and a lead blocker.
Gain of 9, 2nd and 1 at the 7-yard line. Haynes drops the ball, and Country Day is on it. A huge turnover by the Falcons, and Country Day comes up with it. And the recovery for Country Day by 54, Cale Colleen, the junior linebacker, and a huge turn of events here, Rick.
That's exactly what Country Day does. They keep making you snap it, and that was an unforced error that time, putting the ball on the ground, and Country Day will take advantage of that situation. They're very, very good at that. So an unforced error by STA, but it's all set up because Country Day just keeps making you snap it over and over.
Each team with a turnover now, and Country Day starts at its 9. Trailing 14-13, 3:07 to play in the half. Carute looking for the middle screen, throws it, and there's Griffin with space. Look out, got a block. Here's Jace Griffin. He's at the 30, 35, 40. First down, Country Day. Jace Griffin across the 40 to the 42-yard line. That's a big gain of 33 yards.
What a beautifully executed inside screen. That's one of the many ways that they could get the ball to Jace Griffin, and he is really an exciting player when he gets in the open field. Invited the lineman to chase the quarterback, had a blitz off the edge, and then slips it to Jace.
1st and 10 of the 42-yard line. Snap it, Carruth looking to throw inside, batted down beautifully by Cameron Dantzler. He is playing Harrell all over the field.
That's right. That's a great matchup to look at. Harrell had one big play against Dantzler, and Dantzler made a very good play there, lunging and knocking the ball down with his right hand.
2nd and 10 from the 42. Just a very light drizzle right now. Not as good as it's been out here.
Yeah, we still have some umbrellas up. This is about a 10 umbrella rain right now.
Here's Carruth faking to Griffin. Pump fakes. Wants the deep route. This is miscommunicated. Incomplete. Pass went outside. Receiver went inside. As it was intended for Chandler Wynn, it will be 3rd and 10.
Tried the double move with a pump fake again. The secondary wasn't biting that time. The safety was in great position to be able to play that particular toss. And as you mentioned, the throw was outside, receiver went inside.
3rd down and 10 from the 42-yard line. Christian Carruth, the snap. Looking, throwing, incomplete. Intended for Griffin, but very well covered by Carlos Bell. And Country Day will face a punting situation.
A pressure-type look, all 11 defenders within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Brought more than Country Day could block. Carruth did a nice job of buying some time to try to slip Jace Griffin down the middle of the field. But the Falcons were exactly where they needed to be to defend that. Would have taken an absolutely perfect throw, and it was very difficult to do at that time.
Drop the snap. Lividay's in trouble. He gets away from one. He somehow got it off. It's not going anywhere. And the missed situation there on the punt. It's going to cost Country Day. And St. Thomas Aquinas once again will get the ball on the plus side of the field. The 4th possession they've started in Country Day territory. And that's big with 2:21 to play in the half, because they're wearing down Country Day, and only the fumble on their last possession stopped them.
Exactly. They're starting to really block them internally, and we'll see if St. Thomas Aquinas has the patience to finish off a drive this time with 2:21.
Starting from the 47 of Country Day. Snap it. Run it inside. Lewis runs through tackles. And again, they're just starting to pound him and wear him down. And that's going to be a gain of about 9 to the 38. Brad Lewis running hard. He's a really good runner. And has 9. He's got 55 yards on the game on 7 carries, and it's 2nd down and 1. They're getting big chunks.
Absolutely. They're just running the inside belly series, very wing T-like in what they're doing. They seem to have found something inside.
2nd and 1. Snap it. Here's Lewis right. Lewis crosses the 35, has a first down, but there's a flag on the play from the far side. This might be another formation issue.
Very, very well could be.
Came from way on the home side of the field here near us.
And the officials are checking with each other.
Now they wave it off.
Yeah, that was a miscommunication between the two officials. When only one side throws it, very often that is the case. And the official wants to throw it if he's unsure, so that they can communicate whether it was a legal formation. It was an unbalanced line, I believe, that time. And the signals back and forth between the two wing officials didn't communicate that properly. 4
yards, and a first down to the 34. Clock running, 1:33 and counting in the first half. St. Thomas Aquinas up by 1. Here's Cameron Dantzler off the fake. Throwing in the flat, open receiver, caught. Broke a tackle. And dragging a tackler down. Mason Miller. And another first down for St. Thomas Aquinas.
The ball exchanges so far, Ken, in the passing game have been really outstanding. It shows how well prepared the players are for these circumstances, but also shows how good the equipment is right now. The gloves and the football do much better in wet weather than the ones that we remembered.
On first down, this time they stack it up. Brad Lewis maybe got a yard on this play, and the clock runs at 1:10. Still time. Second down. Yeah, player slow to rise for Country Day, gets up limping a little bit. You know they don't want to stop the clock here. 1:01 and counting. Second down and 9 at the 18. Dantzler is going to roll right. Dantzler looking, throwing, and caught. And back inside on the catch and run. That is Brady Becerra. He's going to have the first down. And St. Thomas Aquinas running to the line of scrimmage with a first and goal. And now timeout's going to be called. Country Day was trying to run substitutes on the field.
Yeah, the Cajuns were trying to get their goal line defenders on the field, and St. Thomas Aquinas was having none of that. They went right up to the line of scrimmage, and they were ready to go and got Country Day caught with players, too many players on the field. So let's call a timeout. Ball's on the 5-yard line. Let's call timeout. Let's get organized and see if we come up with another goal line stand similar to one that they had earlier in the first quarter.
Well, it's really been a dominant performance up front by St. Thomas Aquinas. When you look right now, Country Day has rushed for 7 yards in this game, and St. Thomas Aquinas 167 yards rushing. For Country Day, it's been all about the two big pass plays that have given them an opportunity. Clearly, the better side physically is St. Thomas Aquinas. Can Country Day summon up enough magic to give itself a chance to win this game?
That's a very good way to put it. And they've been pedaling as fast as they can. They're kind of going uphill, but they're hanging in there, and that's going to be a similar formula to last week. Hang in there through the first 3 quarters and put the pressure on the opposition.
First and goal at the 5, 44.9 seconds left in the half. Here's Dantzler. Drop the snap. Picks it up, and guess what? They're not going to get him. Touchdown, St. Thomas Aquinas. Well, when you're a good athlete, you're a good athlete. And there was nobody home on the left side, and he just instinctively went that way and scores. And St. Thomas Aquinas extends the lead to 20-13. There is a flag, so hold everything. Now a long discussion again. And this has happened a lot in this first half, which has really moved slowly.
Here we go.
Would be a 5-yard touchdown if it stands for Dantzler. Yep. And it will be. Wave the flag off. What's that, second or third time they picked one up?
Yes, at least. I believe it's the third time. Yep. Now we're coming to have an explanation why the flag was thrown to begin with.
Joe Chango wants the explanation. So it's a touchdown for Dantzler. And he's now gotten it done in all phases in this game.
The play is just starting for St. Thomas Aquinas' offense when there's the first breakdown. When things get scattered and it gets to be freelance time, there's no matching up with Cameron Dantzler. The game is just starting. The play is just starting when the first hiccup occurs.
Hear that. Dantzler's pass for a touchdown, thrown for a touchdown in this game.
And once again, we have more talking. There's been a
lot of talking.
There's been a lot of discussion during the course of the game, and the players are thinking, just put the ball down.
Hey, can we play? Dantzler, by the way, 6 of 8, 132 yards and a touchdown passing, Rick. That's not the way you expect him to beat you. He's also rushed for 79 yards and a score. This just in. He's real good.
That's right. We've got a scope.
Hetzinger for the extra point attempt. And he has it through there. So with 39.1 seconds to play in the half, it's St. Thomas Aquinas 21 and Country Day 13.
Dantzler so far has really lived up to his billing so far as both a runner and a passer. He really has the defense dislocated, I call it. That the front is having to try to hold up physically, and they're having a tough time of it. But he can get some breakdowns when he gets players running out in space where he gains a significant advantage. It's going to be important that Country Day maintains contact in the game, because their best chance of winning is to be able to hang in, and then in the fourth quarter, as happened last week, the pressure suddenly goes to the favored team, and you can start making plays. They executed that beautifully last week against OCS, Washita Christian, and the same formula's got to take place here. And they're hanging in, even though it's 21-13. They're hanging in there with the bad field position they've had after the first two drives. It could have been much worse than it is right now. And we still have 39 seconds here. Let's see if they have something up their sleeve.
This ball is being angled to the right, I might add, by the kicker, Hetzinger. And that's what he's doing. He's kicking a ground ball to the right. Fielded at the 30. Nice cut by McCall Simon. Nice run. Country Day gets good field position at the 45. Now they only have 30.4 seconds left, but you know Joe Chango's going to take a shot, especially with this field position at his own 46. I think he has 2 timeouts left, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think that's correct.
Don't have a scoreboard that keeps that here in this facility. And with the rain, we haven't been able to keep everything, although I must report that the rain is pretty much stopped, and I shouldn't speak too soon, right? But
yeah, we're down
I'm getting confidence. I might uncover everything at halftime.
We're down to 3 umbrellas right now.
I like
so
it.
The rain has definitely eased up.
But not Adams. His is firmly in place.
No, that's
well established.
I've heard of the Brock umbrella before. I think
This is the Bryant umbrella.
Bryant umbrella.
That's it. 1st and 10 of the 46 shotgun. Here is Carruth rolling right, slips and throws. And let's hope he's okay. He just slipped in the turf. Edwin Alexander was chasing him. Pass falls incomplete with 25.5 seconds left. He does get up.
That's the first slip that we've seen.
It is.
It's pretty, but that is the worst part of the field. They have a low spot a bit in the middle that the water drains into. But it's also easy to slip when Edwin Alexander's chasing you.
No doubt.
Your cleats don't have as much traction when he's hot on your tail.
2nd and 10 from the 46. Carruth's going to pitch it to Griffin, and now the end-around pass is coming, and he just heaves it deep. He's got a receiver down there, and it is caught inside the 10. What a throw and catch. Patagna comes up with it with 13.7 seconds left. And roughing the passer will be tacked onto it. Trick play works beautifully. What an unbelievable play here. 1st and goal, and we'll see where they end up spotting this. And they have 13.7 seconds left to try to get it done.
You will see it all before the end of this game. Coach Chango's got lots of things up his sleeve, and he used one of his special plays there.
So the ball went to the 10, I believe. Now they're marking it off, so it should be the 5, right? That's what's going to happen. So the 5-yard line with 13.7 seconds left. He should have a timeout left. So, what's that? 44 yards on the completion.
Isn't that amazing how with the time ticking down in the first half that anybody in the secondary would take any steps forward? That is a big, big mental error by the Falcons secondary because there's no reason to go running up. You let the ball, if you're have deep responsibility, you let the ball come to you. You're not looking to run up toward the line of scrimmage. So even with all the other distractions going on in the backfield, reversing the field, tossing it back and all, there's no excuse for the deep defenders to come up at all.
It is actually the 4-yard line. 1st and goal from the 4.
Taking a snap under center with 3 backs in the backfield.
There you go. Power eye. Wants to throw out of it and does. And Dantzler knocks it down. Flag down. Receiver down. This could be interference. Tried to get it to Harrell with 9.4 seconds left. Pass interference against St. Thomas Aquinas. So that started at the 4 is going to end up at about the 2, right?
Exactly. Now 9.4 seconds. A timeout available.
We think. Because if not, you can't run the ball. And
exactly.
If you do, you can certainly run it from the 2 with Griffin. But we don't know. We think there's one left.
I'm sure that they do. I feel confident.
1st and goal from the 2. Power eye. Snap it. Run it. Nothing. And they got to call timeout. With 4.4 seconds left, they've got 1 play left. And that was Hickey as he got stuffed. for no gain. And now Country Day's down to one play.
Lined up in a three-back set, a power eye type of look, and tried to slip it to Hickey while Jace Griffin was going to the right side, tried to make a quick slip in there and try to sneak into the end zone. But the front of St. Thomas Aquinas was having none of that, did a good job of holding their ground and penetrating and keeping it to no gain.
Joe Chango, the gambler that he is, there is no way he's trying a field goal here.
Yeah.
No way.
Exactly. He sees an opportunity to really get back in this game on this one play here. So you're going to look at his best two-point play right now. You always have a list of two-point plays that you rehearse specifically for those situations. And right now with the ball on the 2-yard line, what you're going to see, I feel confident, is his best two-point play, because a score right now, right before the end of the half, changes the entire outlook of the game.
Here we go. What should be the final play of the half? What a huge play in the game this is from the 2-yard line. Carew with a power I formation again. Will they throw out of it? Takes the snap, wants to throw, and does. Batted up and incomplete. What a job by the Falcons on the final play of the half. St. Thomas Aquinas gets the huge stop, and they take a 21-13 lead into the half. Great defensive play. Got a hand up. You surprised they tried to throw it out of that formation?
No, because what that formation does, it assures you of one-on-one coverage. You're not going to get any help by anybody else because they've got to put so many players inside, and it affords maximum protection. Only thing that you might do in addition to that is motion somebody in the opposite direction to draw more attention to that side. But in that case, you're looking at your best player against their best player, and it's hard to cover the slant route. And so that's a good formation, actually, to throw that particular play out of.
So at halftime here from Wenzel Field in the quarterfinals of Division III, it is St. Thomas Aquinas 21 and Country Day 13. For the latest news on high school, college, and pro sports in Louisiana, visit sportsnola.com. In addition to unique opinions from our team of area writers, check out Louisiana's best prep football scoreboard, sponsored by the All-State Sugar Bowl. And our first NBC Bank video updates. It's all at sportsnola.com. At halftime, St. Thomas Aquinas 21, Country Day 13. Back in just a bit here on sportsnola.com as part of our first NBC Bank sponsored playoff game. Back in a moment.
And welcome back to Wenzel Field here on the campus of Metairie Park Country Day in Old Metairie. It's halftime right now, 21 for St. Thomas Aquinas and the Country Day Cajuns 13. An interesting first half with tons and tons of mistakes. The game started out with a bunch of errors, penalties especially. A lot of nervousness early in the games. It took the teams a long time to really settle into some type of steady play. Country Day scored on their very first play from scrimmage with a long pass down the left sideline. Great throw and catch action there. But from that point on, St. Thomas Aquinas really did a great job of controlling the attitude of the game and had many, many opportunities. Country Day, even though they recovered an onside kick right after their initial score, really did very little offensively till much later in the first half with another long pass for their second score to Trey Harrell. Missed extra point gives you the 13 points for Country Day. Country Day is hanging in there desperately, had a chance from the 2-yard line right before the end of the half to get right back in the thing, but a tipped pass right at the end of the first half kept another shot at Harrell in the end zone and gives us the score that we have here at halftime. We started seeing some aggressiveness and much better offensive line play in the middle to the late second quarter by the Falcons of St. Thomas Aquinas. It looks like they're starting to control the line of scrimmage. Offensively, much better than they had. And when Cameron Danzler has a chance in the open field, he is very difficult to deal with. So right now, the Falcons have the upper hand, not only in score, but in what's going to come important as the rain continues to come down here. I jokingly try to count the number of umbrellas that tell me how hard the rain is coming down. And right now, we've got about a 50 umbrella rain when you look at both sides. This is the hardest that it's come down, I believe, since very early in the game. But the throwing and catching of the players on both sides in the first half has just been absolutely unbelievable. You could tell that the players are well schooled and they've got the right equipment. And in fact, only one slip and the field is quite soft, but not muddy. And there was only one slip during the course of the first half. So the field conditions have affected the fans more than it affected the players. If the game becomes trench warfare in the second half, because as we've seen from our ace meteorologist, Adam Bryant, we got the illustration of the rain that's on the way. It could end up being steady all the way through the second half. If it becomes trench warfare, that really tilts the advantage to St. Thomas Aquinas. But you just get a feeling with Joe Chango and the Country Day Cajuns that they know how to compete, they know how to hang in there, and they're going to make a game out of it.
Well, you did a good job of summarizing things there. We're trying to keep things dry and situate things, and it's been quite a challenge, but that's okay. We're enjoying what we're watching. 21-13 in favor of St. Thomas Aquinas at the half. And you're right, it was a big play half for Country Day. The two long passes that got them on the board. The first play from scrimmage, of course, to McCall Simons, which was something to behold, 76 yards from Christian Carute. They also had the other long one that was another brilliantly conceived play that worked out beautifully for them. And, of course, they had the trick play before the half to Patagna. And as you mentioned, Rick, they got set up, maybe lost a second or two off the clock prior to the last play, as we were told. But great play by STA to prevent them from getting in to end the half. And again, no hesitation to go for it there. Look, they'd missed an extra point earlier. Right. They're down 8. It's going to take points to win because they're having a hard time holding up in the interior against St. Thomas Aquinas. But that kind of figured to be the case. Country Day has rushed for 7 yards, but Christian Carute has thrown for 178 yards. Just 6 of 15, but for 178 yards. And Cameron Danzler has been all of that. 11 carries, 79 yards, and a touchdown. And he is 6 of 8 for 132 yards and a touchdown. But they have been able to run the ball very effectively, Brad Lewis, 9 carries, 60 yards. Ralph Haynes, 6 carries, 33 yards to go along with Dantzler. So they have a three-headed monster running the ball, and they've worn a little bit on the Country Day Cajuns in this game. And it's going to be interesting to see if Country Day's defense can get enough stops to give them a chance in the second half. Remember, they were down 21-7 at halftime at Washita Christian, and they were down 35-20 in the fourth quarter against, by all accounts, a superior opponent and a traditional power with 5 state championships, and they still came back and won that game. So you absolutely cannot sleep on Country Day. They have the fortitude, the belief, the understanding, and the ability to come back, although you have to be impressed with St. Thomas Aquinas. You take away the fumble unforced, and they could be up 2 scores right now.
You definitely have to give Country Day a lot of credit. And we talked with Coach Chango about that on the 3 Tailgaters, that very often Country Day Cajun players don't get the credit for being the type of competitors that they are. But they're very, very competitive people. They rise to a challenge, and they're really going to have to do that again in the second half. That was no more evident than last week. There was no reason for them to be able to come back on the road at Washita Christian, a superior team with a solid lead. There was no reason for them to be able to come back other than, as you mentioned, their intestinal fortitude and the belief in what they're doing.
SportsNola.com. Thanks to Rent Zone for their support of our prep football coverage. For everything from small tools to large earth movers, let the Rent Zone provide what your project needs. Call their boutique office at 985-758-5006 or visit therentzone.net. You expect any trickery here on this kickoff?
Yes. You expect the unexpected at every expected time. Yeah, there's one thing you know it's not going to be is a kickoff deep down the middle.
I got texted at halftime, by the way. Your buddy Louis Cook's watching this game at SportsNova.com as we speak. So I know you want to give a big shout-out to Louis, the Hall of Famer, and I hope it works with urban and rural. Anything's better than this, my friend. Thanks for your efforts. Rick and I both appreciate it. So does Ed, and I think most every sane person in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
Here's the kickoff down the middle and fielded on the run. And this is Bell returning it for St. Thomas Aquinas, and Bell gets it across the 35 near the 36. Second half begins. St. Thomas Aquinas gets it first with a 21-13 lead.
And certainly want to congratulate Louis and the Notre Dame of Crowley Pioneers on their great win against Calvary Baptist last night, and they play in the winner of this game, so I know they're watching very closely. I'll try to give you a few tips, Louis, like Seabiscuit in the 8th at Aqueduct. Okay, try that one.
I'll take American Pharaoh in the feature race. Here's a run to the left side. Boy, this is strung out. Lewis reverses field, gets a crackback block. Lewis to the corner, flag comes down. Lewis with a big run, but a flag down. This is going to come back.
Yeah, there was a push in the back, and this is going to be a huge penalty because it happened at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so it's going to turn a big gain. And once again, if you get the Country Day defense dislocated, the athleticism of St. Thomas Aquinas really sticks out. But this penalty is going to negate not only a great broken field run, but really put them way behind the chain.
Block in the back, 10-yard infraction, 7th penalty, and 57 yards. But again, it's a spot foul, so let's see where this ends up. 17-yard line, so that's in effect a 19-yard infraction. So it's 1st and 29 as the rain comes down heavier now. So much for that little break we had. So what is it, about a 200 umbrella?
Yeah, it's every umbrella. There are no unopened umbrellas.
On 1st down and 29. Not an enviable down. Dantzler on the handoff, and this time Lewis is stuffed.
Lewis carries up the middle.
So Lewis, nowhere to go. Goes nowhere. It's going to be 2nd down and 29 as a result.
Tried to slip Lewis up the middle, get Country Day in a pass rush, get up the field type of mode, but the defensive line did a great job of playing the run.
2nd and 29. Run the 17, just underway second half. 21-13 the lead for St. Thomas Aquinas. So the 2-year reign of Calvary Baptist came to an end last night in convincing fashion. We'll get a timeout, St. Thomas Aquinas. That comes just 1 minute into the second half.
Yeah, they were really disjointed in trying to get that particular play in. This is a very important time, like there's any unimportant times. Right now, Country Day can feel it. That was a big error with that block in the back in what could have been a big play for St. Thomas Aquinas. And right now, Country Day is starting to feel that they can start getting things swung back into going their way. That even though they didn't get it in at the end of the half, the fact that they had a chance to score gave them some confidence. And here with this big mistake, they think they can make something happen right now.
2nd and 29 from the 17. Dantzler will operate out of shotgun. Takes the snap, retreats to throw. A lot of time. He's going to throw it deep. He has a receiver down there. Adjustment for the ball. Flags everywhere. Anytime you have an underthrow and you don't know where the ball is, you're going to have a problem. And that's what happened to Country Day there in the person of Patrick Hearn.
It was amazing that he got so wide open going down the right sideline out of just a straight drop-back pass out of the shotgun. And when the ball was underthrown, the receiver tried to come back but was interfered with by the defensive back, Kern.
Easy way to overcome the big deficit in terms of 2nd and 29. Get a pass interference call. That'll cut it in half.
That's exactly right. Just a 15-yard play. It's not an automatic first down in prep football as it is in both college and professional football. Just a 15-yard penalty. And so now we have 2nd down and probably
2nd and 14 at the 32.
Only if the math is right. And on this campus, the math has got to add up.
My Henry Rando got my math straight, so
that's right.
We're good. 2nd and 14. Snap it, fake it. Dantzler on the keep right. Dantzler gets through 1, gets through 2, fighting forward, and finally stood up. It takes 3 or 4 blue shirts to finally get him down at around the 40. So Dantzler, good hard run there, all the way up to about the 40, maybe the 41. And a player slow to rise for St. Thomas Aquinas. I think that's Dantzler. It is.
It is.
That's Cameron Dantzler, and that's not what you want to see at all. To the 41-yard line, it ends up. So a gain of 12, but the bigger concern is Cameron Dantzler, who's down on the ground, hurt.
Yeah, he's getting up, it looks like.
He's up. He's walking, and that's good. Not sure what it is. A little groggy. That could be a concern.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And now they have to operate without their best player. And this really changes the dynamic. The quarterback for St. Thomas Aquinas is number 7, Cade Blakely. Blakely is a sophomore. And he comes into the game in a 3rd down and 5 situation from the 41. What a spot for young Cade Blakely.
Absolutely. And he didn't have a chance to warm up or anything on the sideline. Just get right in.
They're just going to run it here. They'll run Lewis, right? Yep. That's what they do. It's a good idea. He gets a first down just going downhill and powering up across the 45 to about the 47. A gain of 6 and a first down for St. Thomas Aquinas. Just give it to Lewis.
Exactly. And
trust your offensive line.
Both teams have been awfully good in their shotgun exchanges so far, Ken, and that's something that you would normally think would be a concern. But the exchanges from the centers to the quarterbacks, especially out of shotgun, have been very, very solid.
1st and 10, St. Thomas Aquinas at their own 47. Early stages, second half. Falcons abate. Run Lewis again, and Country Day knows that he's going to get the ball now with a new quarterback in the game. And there to meet him and drive him back was Chandler Wynn. The two-way performing. Nice job by Chandler went. No gain at 2nd and 10.
Very good job by Chandler. Squeezed down as the flow started away from him. Maintained his leverage to the outside, so when the running back made a cutback move, Wynn was right there.
Rain is heavier yet. 2nd and 10 at the 47-yard line. Blakeney to snap. It is an end-around play. Trying to get the corner, and a nice play defensively to get him on the ground. The carry by Miller, and a really good job for Country Day.
Very, very well done. Tried to fake the run to the left side and slip the ball coming back around to the right side, but the Country Day defense was exactly where they needed to be, and now you've got a 3rd and long, and Dantzler is back in the game.
He is indeed. A loss of 2, it's 3rd and 12. Yeah, you can see how it limits their offense. You know they're just going to run the tailback in those situations. They tried an end around there. It didn't work. But now with Dantzler in, it's a totally different dynamic. 3rd and 12 at the 45. Dantzler the snap. Retreats to throw. Under pressure. Rolls right. Steps up. Buys more time. Rolls left. Looking. Gets a block. Gets to the corner. He's going to be dragged down. Outstanding defensive play. What an effort for Country Day. Dragged down by William Boyd and Jace Griffin. What an effort by both. And Dantzler stopped at the 49. Will force a St. Thomas Aquinas punt.
Very nice job there. Everybody was trying to keep Dantzler contained because usually when the first tackler misses, the game is just starting. And great job by the Cajun defense, keeping it in front of him, letting Dantzler come to them, and eventually getting him on the ground.
Well, he still got 6 yards, and the rain comes down even harder. The worst it's been yet. Got to cover up again. Punt formation. Good pass from center. Punt is away. Harrell comes to field it, and he'll try to return it to the short side. Stays in bounds and gets a nice return, and then gets pumped out of bounds hard up near the 30-yard line. Good return by Harrell, though, Rick.
He's quite a good player. He's got good shifty moves and makes some subtle cuts as well. And we got a block in the back.
So much for that.
But he is fun to watch. And that was an excellent opportunity there to be able to come up, catch the punt in the air. That's the first punt that we've been able to see somebody catch it in the air and try to make a play out of it. Trey Harrell is an exciting player, very smooth and explosive as well.
So the block in the back will put Country Day back here. And the Cajuns will go on offense at their own 17-yard line. And it will be Carruth in shotgun. 6th penalty on Country Day, 60 yards. Carruth to Griffin. Not much. Maybe a yard or two as St. Thomas Aquinas stayed home beautifully.
That was a play they had an effectiveness with in the first half, the middle screen. But that time, while there was pressure on the quarterback by the front of the line, the linebackers were right there just waiting for the potential of a middle screen.
2nd and 9. Carruth to throw the slant. That's caught. Nicely delivered. Looks to be just short of a first down. McCall Simon caught it. Cooper brought him down. About 3rd and 3 on a gain of 6.
Good play on both sides of the ball. Good coverage by the defensive back, but an excellent route by McCall, and the ball was right on target.
3rd down and 3. Big play. From the 24. Snap it. Looking, throwing, and he threw it into the ground. Griffin was covered, and he just threw it into the ground.
Threw it right at the feet because they were trying to get a screen to the left side, and that was defended beautifully. There wasn't anything there, so let's just get rid of it, get the clock stopped. Let's get our punt team on the field. And now the fun might be starting again because you know that they've come up with a couple of interesting looks on some of their earlier punts.
Well, they also dropped the snap earlier in punt formation, so you must keep that in mind too. Charlie Livaday waiting to accept the snap. Got this one. Got it off. kicks it away from Dantzler as he has all day. And again, St. Thomas Aquinas will have great field position starting from their own 44-yard line with 6:16 to play in the third quarter.
He's been very effective punting the ball away from Dantzler and getting some positive yardage out of that. St. Thomas Aquinas has got to take advantage of this great field position that they've continued to have. They can't, from their perspective, can't let Country Day keep hanging in the balance, because in the fourth quarter, the pressure all goes on St. Thomas Aquinas' back.
1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Snap it on the ground. Griffin is there to put him down. So that'll be a significant loss for Dantzler. Griffin, coming from the corner, got there and drags him down. That time, no chance for Dantzler to pick it up and make a play like we've seen him do so many times previously. It's going to be back to the 37, a loss of 7.
Good reaction by Jace Griffin that time when he saw that the play was breaking down, to get right on it and get Dantzler before he can have a chance to make a broken play out of it.
2nd and 17. They've overcome that previously. Dantzler, the snap. Fakes it, runs the read himself, keeps it. He breaks the line of scrimmage, breaks another tackle, and is finally going to be polished off at about the 47. Picks up about 10 on the play.
Gets him back into some type of, and we have a player down, but gets him back into manageable territory. Once again, with great field position. We've got a St. Thomas Aquinas player down.
And that's Hunter Stanley, who's been a big factor. That puts Dantzler over 100 yards, 15 carries, 101 yards, and a touchdown. Running the football to go along with his outstanding passing in this game.
He is really smooth at the way that he handles himself, and always under control, even in broken field situations. But they're looking at a lower body type of situation now. He's up, and he's starting to walk to the boundary. One thing that the coolness of the day and with the rain, there's a bunch of players that are having to play both ways. That's the nature of 2A football and Division III. That's the nature of it. You're going to have a bunch of two-way players, and there's the temperature certainly is not going to fatigue the players. The softness of the field could, but the field is held up pretty well. It's not muddy at all, and we've seen very little slippage, only one that we could remember. So fatigue, the two-way players, will be much less of a factor than it would be if the day was warm.
So here is a 3rd down and 6 from the 48 of St. Thomas Aquinas, and Dantzler's not in the game. Dantzler not in the game at quarterback. And they run it. Lewis, cross midfield, is short of a first down, about the 48. I'm not sure what the issue is with Dantzler. But remember, he got tackled on that for a loss. And I wonder if that had an impact. Well, we'll have to check that. So to the 48 they go, and it's 4th down and a punting situation. So another stop for Country Day. More importantly is Cameron Dantzler. He's not only their best player on offense, he's stalwart defensively too. Remember, he left briefly previously, but came back. Here's a low snap. It's on the ground. Nobody's there, and he got it off. Country Day had nobody there and couldn't do anything about it. And here's a great punt, as it turns out, all the way inside the 10. Wow. What a big-time play there. They averted disaster. Country Day had a return on, had nobody coming. And what a job to get that punt off.
That's something that is neglected very often in designing punt returns. For me, the rule is, number one, it's still a defensive play, so be alert with your coverage responsibilities and have defensive personnel on the field. But number two, you got to make the kicker kick it on time. And if there is a snafu, if they make an error, you've got to make them pay for it by pressuring them. And that part got forgotten on that play.
Carute starts from his own 9 in shotgun with the snap rolling right. looking under pressure, throwing, nice throw, and the catch is made by Patagna. Looks to have the first down across the 20 to the 21. Boy, that's a nicely delivered ball.
Well, that really was a sprint out to the right-hand side, trying to shorten the throws, get away from the inside pressure, and shorten the out-breaking route type of throw, and that throw was right on the money. Beautifully done.
Gain of 12, first and 10 of the 21. 4:10 and counting third quarter. Still 21-13, St. Thomas Aquinas. Conditions definitely diminishing. Flag come down, movement up front. False start Country Day will cost them 5. Will be their 7th penalty for 65 yards. Each team with 7 penalties in the game.
A quick shift by the St. Thomas Aquinas defensive line forced that particular false start era. They went from an odd front with Alexander on the nose of the center to an even front with 2 linebackers in the center guard or A gaps. And here they go again, pressuring the A gaps.
Snap it on 1st and 15, throw the slant, and he missed him. And Dantzler is not in the game, so he's not playing on either side, and Harrell is the key man in that passing game, and he had position there. And that throw was off the mark.
And Dantzler's coming in now.
Here he comes.
So it's interesting to see if that's part of the plan. He's coming in as a nickel back right now. Let's see if he goes with Harrell. I believe he is. Yes, he is.
Certainly will. 2nd down and 15 at the 16. Here's Carute. Looking and throwing deep down the field. Caught it. Jace Griffin is gone. Jace Griffin will go 84 yards. Perfect throw by Christian Carute. This Country Day team, they are something else.
They know how to compete. That's a play that they tried to run earlier in the game, and it was well covered that they slipped Griffin out of the backfield up the inside seam, and you just have to give Carute enough time to be able to get his feet set and throw it deep enough that Griffin had a chance to run underneath it. Beautiful execution, because now you have a linebacker, a safety having to cover one of the fastest people on the Country Day team. If you let him hang in long enough, they're going to make something happen.
There's not chasing points to go for 2 this early. They missed one earlier, right. So yeah, I think it's the right move to go for 2 here. With 3:44 to play in the third, trying for the tie. And it will be Carute out of shotgun. Carute the snap, looking to throw. Back of the end zone, he's got it. There's that rub route again.
Yes, it was.
Beautifully delivered. Right on the money to Chandler Wynn. 3:44 to play. We are tied. St. Thomas Aquinas 21, Country Day 21. What a ball game.
And I think that Mike McGuire would be proud of the pick that was just set right there. That was a very solid screen. And it was done in a way that it was legitimate. He didn't come in and block. He came in, got a solid position. The defensive back actually ran into him, and that left him wide open. I thought that was the type of play that they were going to use at the end of the first half. Ken used their base 2-point play, and that was highly effective there. Beautiful execution to get it back to 21-21. Because that's something also in going for 2 points that early. If you feel really good about your 2-point call, that you may want to go ahead and take a shot at it at that particular point. It's obvious that Joe Chango felt very good about the 2-point play that he had dialed up.
It's a 3-play drive, 91 yards. Jace Griffin, 84-yard touchdown catch from Christian Carute. And then the pass from Carute to Chandler Wynn ties the game at 21. With 3:44 to play as a pop-up kick short. Fielded, fair catch call for smartly. Taking it about the 39-yard line for STA by John Matthews. And St. Thomas Aquinas back on the field with Dantzler back in at quarterback. He's been a little bit shaken up, but he's back out there, and they need him, Rick. He clearly, aside from being the best player on the team, he simply changes the dynamic of what you have to do defensively.
Absolutely. He's a difference maker that gives St. Thomas Aquinas a chance to win the football game. So he's got to be at full speed to give them their best opportunity.
1st and 10 from the 39. Shotgun. Dantzler. The snap. Looking. Has time. He's throwing deep. Receiver clearing. And he's got it. Great throw and catch inside the 25. Down about the 22-yard line. There is a flag on the play. Brady Becerra caught it, but it's holding on St. Thomas Aquinas. Wow. Critical penalty here for the Falcons.
Absolutely. Every time it looks like SEA is ready to make a play, there's a major error somewhere, and that is indeed a major error in their pass protection, with holding being called by the referee.
And that was a beautiful throw and catch from Dantzler to Brady Becerra, but the hold negates it.
And this is going to be another spot foul, so it's a big, big, big penalty.
Back to the 23-yard line. It's going to be 1st and 26 as a result. Wow.
Falcons have been consistently behind the chains the entire second half.
Dantzler dropped the ball, picks it up, and he'll go down. So Country Day has all the momentum at this stage as Avery Jenkins gets the tackle for the loss. Unable to handle a shotgun snap, and that cost him dearly.
Yeah, definitely going in the wrong direction here. And as you mentioned, Country Day is starting to feel it right now. They're getting back in the space they were in last week against OCS up in the Monroe area.
Second and what?
Long.
Second and 20 to 29 yards. Running inside with Lewis. Got some yards back.
Tackled by number 11, Chandler
Win on the tackle. Gain of 3 for Lewis. So 3rd down. And about 26 yards to go. They need the 49-yard line for a first down. At the 23.
There's not many plays that you have in your playbook that are designed to pick up 26 yards in one
My
ball.
play is just let Ford do something with it.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. He takes the snap and rolls right. When he's most dangerous, he'll throw across the middle, almost intercepted. Diving effort there for Country Day. Charlie Livaday nearly came up with it, but the Cajuns get a big defensive stop, and they will get the ball back.
Not a very good throw. Sprinting out to the right-hand side to try to get defenders spread out across the field. Threw it behind the receiver, and the defensive back was in position to make a play. Just couldn't come up with it.
Punting situation. Back in punt formation. Reed Bolton. Back to receive Trey Harrell. Again, the snap from center and the execution critical here in these circumstances. Good job and a one-step punt. Bounces, fielded on the run. Look out, Harrell. And he almost broke out of the pack. Great job by Harrell to field it. Returns it about 13 yards. He's got it in St. Thomas Aquinas territory at the 48-yard line with 1:56 to play in the third. Tied at 21.
Put himself in good position to be able to catch the bouncing ball so that if it bounced up like it did, he could catch it while it's moving forward. But he still gave himself enough space that if the ball took a weird bounce that he could just let it go and get out of the way. So very good job by Trey Harrell.
At the STA 48, it's Griffin in the backfield with Christian Carute. Snap it. Run Griffin on a comeback play to the right, short side, and he fights hard for a couple, but they really haven't had any running game at all. Trying to keep them honest here. Carlos Bell makes the tackle, and again, this defense has really stuffed the Country Day running game, which is normally very good. And Griffin, by the way, shaken up. He comes out of the game, and he's on the bench, injured. That's a tremendous blow to this offense, much like Dantzler on the other side when he leaves the game. There's second and a long 9.
Attrition is starting to add up on both sides.
Well, he plays both ways. Both of these guys do. This is two-way football. Second and 9. Snap it. Carute under pressure. He's going to be sacked. Bowled over and down by big Edwin Alexander back at about the 42. 11.5 sacks on the year. And, boy, Carute banged up on that play as well. When you got 300 pounds on top of you, that figures to be the case.
The field might be a little softer than normal. It's not that soft when you've got a big man like Alexander pounding you into the turf. That shows the ability that he has. The Country Day offensive line has done a pretty good job on him in pass protection, but not that time.
9-yard loss. Third down Back at the 44. And 18 yards to go. Look for the screen here, maybe. Now they're going to throw it for Harrell into double coverage, incomplete. Tried to squeeze it in there. Pretty good throw, but again, double coverage made it very difficult. And a very good job by Hunter Stanley to break it up.
Absolutely. A nice route up the right sideline. Looked like Harrell was going to have the opportunity to make a spectacular catch going vertical, but the second defender was Stanley getting there to break it up.
And in punt formation, it's Livaday. And it is Dantzler who's back to receive the punt within a minute of the end of the third quarter here. Livaday intentionally kicks it away from Dantzler again. Takes a bounce for Country Day. Dantzler fields it on the run. Dantzler gets it back upfield to about the 28. So with 49.2 seconds left in the third quarter, it's going to be St. Thomas Aquinas from about its own 27-yard line, taking over in a 21-21 ball game.
Something that St. Thomas Aquinas should consider doing on their punt returns is putting two people back. We had to do that on occasion when a team was very good at directional kicking. Just put somebody else over on the side opposite Dantzler so that you could either field it to return, because if you're kicking to the open field, your coverage has got to adjust to the wide side of the field. So you have an opportunity for a return, but you got to catch the ball in the air. A second kick returner in that situation would give them that opportunity. And St. Thomas Aquinas is calling a timeout already.
Yes, they are. So that's their second, Rick. That means they only have one left.
That's right after getting the ball back on a punt return. To have to call a timeout is a major error. My goodness.
No doubt. So they'll only have one left in a tie ball game. And the 28-yard line is the line of scrimmage.
And I'm checking the umbrellas. They're still out in full force. We have, let's see, I said there's one umbrella that's not open, but he's in a raincoat, so that doesn't count. Try to see if there's any umbrellas that aren't open. We have people under an overhang that have an umbrella out right now, so it's pretty solid.
No doubt. From the 28-yard line, St. Thomas Aquinas with 49.2 seconds to play in the third quarter. Takes over. Dantzler keeps rolling, looking. He's going to throw deep down the field for Becerra. He's got it. Brady Becerra's gone. Touchdown, St. Thomas Aquinas. What a play. 72 yards and a touchdown. Dantzler's down again. Becerra, 72-yard touchdown, and the Falcons lead 27-21. What an exciting game this is.
What a throw and catch that was. An over-the-shoulder deep ball. Great job by Becerra judging the ball in the air. That was the first part of it, because Dantzler put it up with some touch on the ball, so he had a chance to adjust to the ball in the air. So he did a great job of adjusting to the deep ball, keeping his back to the defensive back so a play couldn't be made on it, and then being able not only to absorb the football but to be able to kick out of an attempted trip-up tackle. Excellent execution. Something with the lower body with Dantzler. I wonder if it's some type of cramping even.
Adam Hetzinger for the extra point, and this is good. So at 37.4 seconds left in the third quarter, St. Thomas Aquinas back on top, 28-21.
Guess that's why they had to call a timeout to set up the deep ball. Isn't that something? But an excellent throw and catch, and I'm just continue to be astonished through the course of the game at how effective both teams are in throwing and catching the football in this circumstance. Once again, it's a lot has to do with preparation. That the equipment, the gloves, and the footballs now are much more usable in these types of circumstances. Even though we've seen some games, Ken, that have been affected by a bit of moisture on the field. So you have to give credit to the players and to the preparation that both teams have to be able to play in this type of circumstance in a season where we have had very few rainy games this year. So there hasn't been a whole lot of game preparation. We've had years that we've had 8 or 9 weeks with moisture, and we've had very little this year.
I'm amazed at how well these guys have executed the throw and catch in these conditions, both sides. Kickoff, a bouncer, fielded 30, 35, and upfield near the 40-yard line. Both teams have ended up with good field position off of kickoffs because neither team can really kick the ball deep.
That's going to be very difficult for them going forward, whichever team happens to come out of here, because they give up a lot of field position through their kickoff game. And when you look at the players that are left in their division, the teams that are left in their division, you can't give up this type of yardage.
Starting from their own 39-yard line, Country Day, with 32.2 seconds to play in the third, running a player on late, offensive lineman at that.
Yeah, it helps to
have the center.
And the center, yeah. There was a little hole in the offensive line.
Snap it. Carruth wants to throw it. Heavy pressure hit as he threw it. Incomplete. And that was Alexander, who's starting to impose his will. Had a sack on the last series, and this time just handled his man and drove him right back into the quarterback whom he hit. And the pass falls incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
It should be very difficult to handle him. He is a true SEC caliber player.
Might be time to go back to the screen game or something of that nature, right?
It's going to have to be something short and quick to take advantage of the pressure.
2nd and 10, snap it to Carruth. He throws down the middle, caught. That's a first down, and that is Harrell, and they can't get him on the ground. Finally do put him down in St. Thomas Aquinas territory. First down at the 42-yard line. He's shaken up a little bit on the play as well.
Yeah, the middle read was wide open that time, as he wasn't covered by Danslow that time, so a little shake and bake at the line of scrimmage, took it right up the middle of the field, and there was no question who Carruth was going to go to.
And that'll be the end of the third quarter as the clock winds down. What a ball game. Through 3 quarters here at Wenzel Field, it is St. Thomas Aquinas 28, Country Day 21. Back with our fourth quarter in a moment as we continue with our prep football playoff game presented by First NBC Bank on SportsNova.com. Fourth quarter begins, 28-21, St. Thomas over Country Day. Along with Rick Gailey, I'm Ken Trahan from Wenzel Field, Metairie. And Country Day with a first down and 10 at the 42 of St. Thomas Aquinas. Shotgun Christian Carruth. St. Thomas Aquinas dances around, backs out of the blitz. Quick throw outside, caught, but it's going to be a loss. Played beautifully by St. Thomas Aquinas. Simon caught it, but what a nice play by Edward Cooper to put him down for a loss of 1.
Great job there by Cooper, because he was on an island by himself. They had shifted into their double A-gap pressure, and they were coming after Carruth, the quarterback. Got the ball out of his hand quickly, but a great job by the defense.
2nd and 11. Here is Carruth to throw the slant. Tipped in the air, intercepted. You can see it coming. Second turnover via an interception. And on the tip ball, interception, it's Mason Miller. The second turnover by Country Day. This one could prove critical.
Absolutely. Really good job defensively. Great coverage, getting the ball out of his hands quick on an inside slant. Got the ball tipped up in the air. The defense had it right in their sights as soon as the ball went up in the air. And once again, great field position for St. Thomas Aquinas. They need to take advantage of it or else Country Day will gain some momentum again.
St. Thomas Aquinas is yet to go up by 2 scores in this game. You get the feeling that if they can, this is going to go their way. And they've got it, as usual, with very good field position at their own 43. Off the turnover. They moved prematurely. Yep, good call. Yep. Yeah, the slot man moved a fraction too soon. That's going to cost the Falcons 5 yards and put them behind the chains. Their 9th penalty of the game for 78 yards. So it's first down and 15, now back at the 38-yard line.
In the second half, every drive except the one that they scored on, they've had some type of infraction on first down, have been behind the chains consistently. And that's an unforced error there, getting a false start penalty on first down.
First and 15 from the 38. Dantzler with Big Haynes behind him. And Dantzler will keep it. Dantzler hit, shook one. Can't shake the second. He's down at the 40, a gain of 2. Good defense, interior defense there by Country Day.
It's amazing here in the second half how the defensive front of Country Day has held up. They were starting to get shoved around at the end of the first half, but this second half they've done a much better job in their internal defense. So they've gotten their second wind a bit, and they're staying low and controlling the blockers.
Second down and 13 from the 40. Dantzler retreating to throw. He's going to gun it deep for all he's worth, and it is caught! What a catch by Becerra as he just cleared the defender. Another perfectly thrown ball by Dantzler, and another big play for St. Thomas Aquinas. And they're now threatening as a result. What a beautiful throw and catch.
Absolutely. Great job by Becerra using his body to screen the defender away from the football. It was one of those 50-50 balls. The defensive back was in good shape. Becerra did the better job of using his body to screen off the defender. And Dantzler on a half roll got his feet up under him, and he can really turn it loose.
First and 10 of the Country Day 17. After the 43-yard completion to Becerra from Dantzler, who takes the snap and runs Haynes. Ralph Haynes bangs hard and picks up about 4. Give him 3 to the 14. It's 2nd and 7.
Nice job by the Country Day defensive front. Once again, holding up pretty well against the physical mismatch of St. Thomas Aquinas' offensive line. Really, the defensive line of the Cajuns has played very well today.
Just a slight mist now, so rain has receded. 2nd down and 7. 9:45 to play in the game. At the 14 of Country Day, Dantzler drops the snap. Haynes fell on it. Wow. So that's going to go back to about the 16. A loss of 2, and it's going to be 3rd and 9.
Mishandling of the football there. It looked like a snap that could be handled, but in trying to get it to the running back, really let it slip through his fingers. They were fortunate to be able to fall on it right away.
16-yard line, 3rd and 9. Big play here, although it could be 4-down territory.
Right.
Dantzler shotgun. Watch him roll out here. He does. He's going to run it himself. Looked for the block. Broke a tackle. He's loose, and he is diving for the first down and goal inside the 5 to about the 3. Cameron Dantzler coming up with a big run of about 13 yards. First and goal, Falcons.
And that's their buck sweep look that they, instead of faking to the fullback and handing to a halfback as is traditional in the buck sweep, you fake to the single running back. Everybody blocks down. The right guard pulls, the left guard pulls, and he becomes the halfback. So it's a really neat scheme that you can run out of the pistol.
First and goal from the 3, under 9 minutes to go. Falcons now have a chance to take control of the game. Haynes in the backfield with Dantzler. Snap to Dantzler. Keeps it running right. He's in trouble. He's down. He goes down at about the 5, 2nd and goal. Remember, the goal line stand Country Day had earlier in this game.
Country Day plays great goal line defense. That's a sign of a very good football team. Their defensive line stays low. They're not getting knocked off the football. and the linebackers do a good job of coming downhill, and the perimeter defenders also do a nice job of keeping the ball contained. They really do a great job in goal line defense.
2nd and goal from the 5. 8 minutes to play in the game. Dantzler runs. Lewis fighting, and getting a couple. So Brad Lewis puts it down to about the 3. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 3, a gain of 2.
And that's more like you would think what St. Thomas Aquinas would do in the goal line, and now they're getting their big fullback in the game to try to continue at least the appearance that they're going to pound the ball inside.
Ralph Haynes. 3rd and goal from the 3. Dantzler takes the snap, runs Haynes, barrels forward, and Haynes is going to be down at the 1-yard line. Here we go again. 4th and goal from the 1. We've been here before.
That's one of the reasons I thought it was unusual that they took the ball to the edge on the first down from the 1st and goal play, when you have the opportunity to just go ahead and try to drive the ball straight ahead.
Timeout Country Day with 6:59 to play. They will have 2 timeouts remaining. STA has 1 remaining.
Right, and that's trying to save some clock there, I guess. But critical play. If St. Thomas Aquinas gets ahead by 2 scores, it's going to be very difficult for Country Day to be able to come back. If they stop them, then the game is on all over again. This is going to be just an outstanding effort on both sides here. Whoever executes fundamentally the best is going to win this particular play. Great goal line defense, and the best 2-point play. This is, once again, I think it comes down to that. You either are going to run your 2-point play, or you tell your players, I'm putting it on you. Offensive line.
I guess it's all about this. Do you try to trick them by faking it, or do you just run Haynes inside and trust your offensive line? Country Day's got to crash its linebackers and get its defensive lineman diving low, but here we go.
Well, Alexander's in the backfield. This is the time that you put it on your players and say, see if you can block them.
4th and goal from the 1. Dantzler, the snap, gives it to Haynes. Hit near the goal line. He is waiting for a signal. Still waiting. What's the signal? And he stopped. Unbelievable stop. 2nd time they have held on a 4th and goal at the 1. What a game effort by this Country Day defense. Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, both teams said, okay, we're going to put our biggest and toughest, and we're going to go against your guys and try to power it in. Both sides stood up, and the Cajuns ended up winning that skirmish. For the 2nd time, as you mentioned, in the game, the same side of the field, as a matter of fact, going toward the same end zone. 6:48, down by 7. Great goal line stop. The Cajuns still live to fight another play.
Unreal. Inside their own 1. Danger zone here.
They had to get the chain crew back alerted that, hey, we need the chain
the chains
the
to
other
play.
way.
1st and 10 from inside the 1. Goal line defensive look for St. Thomas Aquinas, and they jumped. Alexander jumped. Was he drawn? If not, it's a big play for Country Day.
That should give them that gives the Cajuns a little bit of breathing room, even though their backs are still up against the wall. But that's a mental error. That's a freebie.
That's huge. 1st and 5 from the 6. That's the 10th penalty. 83 yards against St. Thomas Aquinas, and this is going nowhere. They just can't run it.
Right.
So that's a loss of a yard or 2. Griffin has not been able to run the ball at all.
Yeah,
that's a loss of 2. In fact, it's 2nd and 12. And when you look at his day, 9 carries for 4 yards.
Exactly. After the 5-yard penalty, we have 2nd and 7. But you know that they're going to take a shot down the field here. This is, even though they've got Harrell into the short side of the field.
Against Dantzler.
Yeah.
2nd and 7 from the 4. Carew wants to throw. He's looking for his man. He's got Harrell. Harrell 1st down. Harrell over Dantzler for the catch. Move the chains. Country Day up to about the 38-yard line. What a throw and catch again.
Interesting way of doing that.
And I think they roughed the passer as well. What a huge play this is.
Yes, indeed. That gets them right back into the game. A great goal line stand. You knew they were going to take a shot coming out of the end zone. That is indeed their MO. I thought it was interesting that they did it into the short side of the field, but in that way, it's 1, 2, 3, quick steps, the ball's out of your hand, and a great job by Harrell against Cameron Dantzler. What a matchup that's been.
It's a 34-yard completion, and a 15-yard penalty puts it at the St. Thomas Aquinas 47-yard line. That's 11 penalties, 98 yards on the Falcons. 1st and 10, Carruth wants to throw. He throws it down the field. Catch over the shoulder. What a catch by Patagna down to the 32-yard line. What a ball game. 16 yards and a first down.
Beautiful execution. That's the rub route they used. To the left for their two-point play. They did it to the right side that time, and they've been consistently able to get open on that. Gets his hands away from his body to make a great catch.
To the 32, 1st and 10. After the gain of 16, Falcons are blitzing. Carruth is countering with a slant. Incomplete in traffic for Harrell. It's those tip balls in traffic that have cost them 2 interceptions. That time Harrell got one hand on it, but the defenders were all over him. Stops the clock with 5:30 to play. And it is 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Carruth is 14 for, 28. 14 for 28, 349 yards.
He's consistently been able to get the ball out of his hand to his first choice, play after play. He's had a very solid game today.
2nd and 10 against a 4-man front. You're going to throw it a release pass caught and spilled. Gamble, almost a pick. Turned out to be a catch, and then drilled on the play and down on the play and banged up on the catch after the hard hit is Chandler Wynn, holding his right knee. Well, you hope that's not serious.
And they're
kind of quiets the crowd. It's a gain of 2. It's 3rd and 8, and the injury stops the clock with 5:20 to play. And this team just doesn't have depth to be able to overcome injuries. So a 2-yard gain. More importantly, the injury to Win.
And they're signaling for some help. So
yes.
I'm afraid that this doesn't look great for
No,
Mr.
it doesn't.
Win.
Everybody will go to a knee and watch this, and that's never, ever what you want to see. It's just a very disappointing. It's part of the game. Nothing wrong. It's just a great play defensively. It just happens in this game of football. And this place is dead silent. I mean, you talk about quiet. The whole place dead silent as a result.
Exactly.
Trainers checking on the stability of the knee. That's the primary thing in this situation. Because right away he grabbed his right knee. And again, they tend to him, and we just sit and wait here with 5:20 to play, 28-21. Our score. By the way, SportsNola.com will have more live playoff football presented by First NBC Bank for you next weekend. Join us here at Sports NOLA for more details. Our live playoff coverage as the road to the Dome continues. What a road it is. We look forward to bringing it to you. For the latest news on high school, college, and pro sports in Louisiana, visit SportsNola.com. In addition to unique opinions from our team of area writers, check out Louisiana's Best Prep Football Scoreboard, sponsored by the All-State Sugar Bowl, and our First NBC Bank video updates. It's all at SportsNola.com. Joe Chango is kneeling over his injured player, Chandler Wynn.
Yeah, he grabbed his right knee immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they're trying to get some type of emergency medical assistance out. The stretcher looks like it's coming out. That was an immediate reaction from the athletic trainer as soon as she got to the player to get the emergency medical technicians out there.
They are going to get
him stabilized.
EMT out here, and they're coming from the far side, so we'll have to wait for the stretcher to be there to secure him. Clearly, this is not something you want to see, and unfortunately, this is not the what you would call moderate to light injury. And you never want to speculate, but clearly, this is a significant concern for the young man, Chandler Wynn, in for Country Day.
And it's important that you stabilize the young man and you give him confidence that everything is going to be okay. That yes, that it's very painful and there's a lot of discomfort, but you have to do everything you possibly can to make sure the young man doesn't go into shock. That's always a possibility. So you have to make sure that you provide a lot of reassurance to him while you're going through the mechanics of being able to care for him immediately.
And for those that aren't cognizant of it, at every game you have an EMT, emergency technician crew with an ambulance on site. It's required for these type of circumstances, which you obviously hope never occur, but you obviously know are always possible. And it's the kind of thing that aside from the fact that you hate to see it, the reality sets in on both sides. You see the players on each side. Silent as can be on a knee and saying, that could be me. I mean, it's just the nature of what can happen in this game. Anytime you see those little flares or tunnel screens, you're blind to the defender, and the defender is firing full speed straight ahead, then you know that this is what can happen.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, and it's not just in sports and not just in football. These types of things happen all the time. Something that is very encouraging when we talk about the equipment. I've talked about the gloves and talked about the footballs and how good they are in this type of weather. Players now have got the best medical attention that they've ever had in the history of the game. There's more athletic trainers that are available. There's more technology that's available than ever before.
You can see the huddle. Joe Chango, I really like what he's doing here. He told his team, let's go. Let's everybody up. He's going to get them refocused on the game as we speak, because it's so easy to get caught up in this and distracted if you're a player. This obviously concerns you. That's a teammate. That's a friend. It's a key player. And you really worry about your own mortality in the game when you see that happen. So what Joe Chango's doing is just trying to get his team refocused and understand there's still a game to be played. We've got to get this done. They're able to lift him up on the stretcher now. Yeah, big round of applause from both sides.
They come in, put a board under the injured area, and get that stabilized as a splint to where that when they lift him up and get him on the stretcher, there's not going to be any further damage. And that's all part of the protocols that are available to athletes now. Once again, sports medicine is the best now that it's ever been. Players get the best treatment, not only when they injure, but they get the best conditioning that they've ever had afforded to them before. That's one of the great progresses in sport overall. The off-season program, the conditioning, the training that goes into being an athlete in today's sport, but also the sports medicine and the technology. Once again, that goes along with that.
And he lifts his arm and left arm. I like seeing that. Fans chant Chandler. And nobody feels worse about it than the player that made the hit. He's just doing his job and doing it well. And here comes Edwin Alexander and the whole STA defense to try to encourage Chandler Wynn. Class act. Yeah, no surprise.
That's what competition's all about. Competition is between the lines when the ball is snapped and until the whistle blows, and then when that play is over, then it goes back to respecting each other.
No doubt.
That's the lesson that sometimes we don't always get out of this great game, is being able to compete while still respecting your opponent.
When play resumes, it's going to be 3rd and 8 at the St. Thomas Aquinas 31-yard line. Make it 3rd and 9, so they gave him just 1 yard. 3rd and 9 at the 31.
If the ball would have been knocked down, it wouldn't have happened. It was almost an interception to begin with. But and right now it's a 0 umbrella day. So maybe over the next 5 minutes and 20 seconds we can.
Well, this is 4-down territory for Country Day. 3rd and 9 at the 31. Snap it to Carruth. He's rolling to the right. Looking, throwing, sliding, catch made. He caught it right near the marker. And this is going to depend on the mark to Jace Griffin near the 22, which is where he needed to go. And are they going to measure or give it to him? I think they might measure here. It's right at the marker. Are they going to move the chains? Haven't moved them yet. And now the officials are talking about it.
Uh-oh.
Now they're talking about the catch, I think.
I think so. This is kind of dangerous when
incomplete. Incomplete pass. So it's going to be 4th and 9, and Adam Bryant's telling me that they got it right. So I believe him. 4th and 9. Ball game could be on the line right here with 4:57 to play.
Well, a lot of times when officials huddle up, it doesn't always get called right. But if they got it right, kudos to the officials for meeting and making sure that it's called.
Well, Jace Griffin operating out of to the right side, split that way. Harrell isolated to the left. Watch them. Key men to watch. 4th and 9. Carruth is rolling right. He's looking. He's throwing down the field, and no way. Incomplete, and the ball will go over on downs to St. Thomas Aquinas as the pass came up short. There is a flag, though, and that I didn't see what it was.
Here we go.
One more time.
It's down the field right about where the ball was called incomplete.
Mm-hmm. Are they going to pick up another flag? Pass interference, St. Thomas Aquinas. Wow. John White is beside himself. Look at him. Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
sustains the drive. I didn't see the interference. Now the officials are talking again. Wow.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one to get another look at. This is
pass interference against St. Thomas Aquinas. This is going to result in a first down for Country Day. And a big penalty stepped off of 15 yards. And the Falcons have been absolutely crushed by penalties. 12 for 113 yards. And Country Day will have it at the 16-yard line with 4:50 to play, trailing by 7. Carruth, the quarterback, single back next to him. It's Jake Gitter. Here's a throw on the rub route, backside, incomplete. Fading into the end zone for Jace Griffin. Runs over somebody that's standing on the sideline there. Why he is standing so close to the field, I have no idea. And now he's down. Slow to get up. I mean, you can't be standing right by the sideline.
No, that's why they had barriers there. Now it's just a rope, but that's why the rope is there.
Looks like the gentleman's all right, thankfully. 2nd and 10, 4:43 to play. Gitter in the backfield. Carruth the snap, rolling right away from pressure. Throwback screen coming. It's there, and Gitter's open. Gitter dives forward, broke a tackle, and he gets close. Jake Gitter on a beautiful throwback screen has a 1st and goal for Country Day. What a beautiful call, and what great execution, Rick.
Absolutely, really had that set up well. Good hard sprint to the right side, really sold the play to the wide side of the field while the lineman drifted out with the receiver to be able to catch the screen. Beautifully set up and executed.
1st and goal from the 2-yard line after the 14-yard completion. Remember, they haven't been able to run it at all, Rick. Jace Griffin is behind the quarterback, who's under center in a run formation. And they're going to try to run Griffin. Left side, he's not going to get there. Griffin may have gotten a yard. So it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 1 as we'll tick under 4 minutes to play.
Neither team has been able to power the ball in short yardage situations, so chances are the ball is going to get to the perimeter.
Well, even from the 1-yard line, would not be surprised to see trickery.
Exactly.
2nd and goal from the 1. Harrell split right, everybody else tight. Gonna run it with Hickey, I believe. Is he in? Touchdown! Touchdown, Hickey. And the Cajuns are a point from a tie. The question is, are they going to kick it or go for it? I think they're going to kick it, Rick.
The tee is coming out.
Yes,
so
it is.
They're going to line up in an extra point formation.
So they're going to apparently try for the tie here. And it's going to be in the hands or in the foot of Charlie Livaday here. Missed one earlier. This is for the tie. Snap, spot. Kick is up. It is good. It got over and through. 3:32 to play. What a ball game. Country Day 28. St. Thomas Aquinas 28. We're going to remember that pass interference call for a while.
Oh, absolutely. And so is Coach John White and other STA supporters. That was one of the more interesting calls of the afternoon on a fourth down play. But the Country Day just keeps coming back at you, coming back at you, coming back at you. And if you let them stay in the game, and with two goal line stands that St. Thomas Aquinas could not finish off during the course of the game, they've allowed Country Day to be in there coming into the fourth quarter. Now with 3:32 left, the pressure is squarely on St. Thomas Aquinas.
Well, the kickoffs, as you know, have been short, and the field position, as you know, has been good. So that's the deal here.
It is going to be some type of squib kick, sky kick, dribble kick. There's going to be some type of different type of kickoff other than blasting it down the middle of the field. So it's going to be interesting to see that St. Thomas Aquinas handles it.
Here's Livaday. Pop-up kick. Gonna bounce. Look out. It's loose. Who's got the ball? Wow. SDA thinks they have it. And they do. Coming out of there with it for SDA was Jesse Hester. Save the day. That ball was anybody's ball.
Absolutely.
And with 3:28 to play, St. Thomas Aquinas gets it back with a chance to perhaps win it.
That one was not that difficult to be able to field, but you had 5 people in the front line, 4 people in the next line, almost like an onside prevent type of deal, and the ball was right between the deep people and the short people. So with the ball on the 35-yard line, one drive to win the game for St. Thomas Aquinas.
On first down, Dantzler's shotgun. Long count, takes the snap, rolls left. He's going to run a keeper. Dantzler to the corner with room. He's at the 40. He looked to have a first down across the 45, and now late flags. That might cost Country Day 15 more.
Right.
Big mistake there. Dantzler will get 11 to the 46, and they're going to get more out of it.
Just a plain old power sweep, unbalanced formation to the left. When you bring motion over to that side, you had Country Day outnumbered to the left, and when you have Dantzler running behind a numerical advantage, you've got a big play potential.
For two disciplined teams, a lot of penalties in this game. That's 8 for 80 yards on Country Day, 12 for 113 on St. Thomas Aquinas. And now the field position is dandy for STA at the Country Day 41 with 3:19 to play in the game.
They've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Can they take advantage of this one?
First and 10 of the 41. Dantzler takes the snap, and he's going to keep it right. They've got him this time. Dragged down. Well done by Wagner. Loss of 1 at 2nd and 11.
Very, very well done. Everybody holding their points of attack, and there was no place for Dantzler to go. It kept him from taking it outside, and good pursuit from.
There was a receiver downfield on that side, but he was a good 15 yards behind that.
Yep,
that's a big call, Rick. Explain why.
Because it's from the spot of the foul and loss of down.
Thank you.
So it's not. Wait a second.
Now they're talking again.
Yep.
They're waving off. They're going to say a receiver was in the vicinity. And so it goes incomplete. There was a receiver, like I said, 10 or 15 yards down the field in that direction. And they're going to say that was a genuine effort to get it to him.
Unless there was somebody that blended in with the sideline, maybe. We didn't say, but it didn't. It looked like that was an attempt to just abort the play.
3rd and 11, 2:35 to play. Snap it. Dantzler looking, going to throw the go route, which has been good to him, and it's going to be picked off. Patagna intercepts like a punt inside his own 10, though, and with 2:27 left, second turnover by St. Thomas Aquinas gives Country Day the ball back. It's a good news, bad news. They got it back, but where they have it is not desirable.
Well, Price Patagna has gotten picked on a couple of times here in the second half, so it was good to see him make a play on the deep ball, even though they're pinned back deep because of it. It's good to see the young man, after a couple of plays that didn't work out in his favor, take advantage of a free ball to make the interception.
At the 6-yard line with 2:27 left. Does Country Day have any more magic left in them? Or can STA come up with a big defensive play here? 1st and 10 at their own 6. Here's Carute. Running it inside. Interesting. And you know they're not going to make anything doing that.
Exactly. They're still
Gitter on the carry.
Well. First time the whole game that St. Thomas Aquinas went to a 2-deep secondary type coverage. So they're expecting Country Day to try to take a shot down the field, which is exactly what they've done every time they've been pinned back deep.
And if you're Country Day, you got to be thinking about, should I just try to run this clock
exactly
far down as I can, because I don't want to give them the ball back. But I don't think they can. Carute throwing, got him. It's Patagna, and he's got the first down. They're not sitting on it, no chance. First down, Cajuns.
And that's the same rub route that they've had great success throughout the game, where the inside receiver comes right off the outside receiver and the defensive back is trailing, and they throw the ball over his outside shoulder. Just a really good job of executing that.
And a first down on the gain of 19 to the 27. 1:45 left. Wants to throw. Down the middle, incomplete. Smart throw because it wasn't there. Intended for Patagna, and a very good job in the coverage by Mason Miller. Stops the clock with 1:41 to play.
Yes, that was a good throwaway. Throw it down at the feet of the receiver where neither player could get it. Let's stop the clock and fight another play.
2nd and 10. Say it's gotten darker out here would be accurate.
That's right.
From the 27. Snap it. Wants to throw the slant and does. Nice catch by Harrell. Up to about the 35. Just short of the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Minute 30 and counting. 3rd down and 2. Big down both sides here. They don't convert. STA gets it back. Snap it. They're going to run it. And he's got it. First down, Gitter. Hard run. Best run of the game for Country Day. Bangs to the 42. Gain of 7. Move the chains. That'll stop the clock for the moment. And a first down for Jake Gitter on a gain of 7.
Good hard run in a short yardage situation.
Country Day right on the ball as the clock starts with a minute to play in the game. Snap it. Carute looking. Throws the slant again. And a diving effort incomplete for Harrell. Stops the clock with 55.3 seconds left. Based on what we've seen, the field goal is really not an option.
No, that it would have to be at the 3-yard line to have any significant meaning for a field goal, even though Country Day players seem to exceed their potential. So you have to think about getting the ball in the end zone.
2nd and 10 from the 42.
They've thrown 2 slants now at Harrell against Dantzler, and now we've got pressure. Unless they're faking a blitz, you can look at an outside throw here to Harrell.
Retreating, looking, throwing down the field. Miscommunication, intercepted. There's the big turnover. And it's intercepted for St. Thomas Aquinas by Mason Miller with 50 seconds left. And now the Falcons have a chance. Third turnover for Country Day, all on interceptions.
Tried to run a smash route that time with Harrell occupying the outside defender and the inside slot receiver running a short corner. The ball's got to be, if anything, overthrown rather than underthrown. And the ball was a bit underthrown. The defensive back was right there for it.
And now STA has a chance at its own 43 with 50 seconds left and a special player at quarterback in Cameron Dantzler with a double wing and a motion left by Stanley. On first down, Dantzler. Looking, rolling, pressure, evades one, still looking, running out of room, steps out of bounds, big sack with 42.3 seconds left. Great job by the Country Day defense in coverage, but there is a flag on the play as well on the far side of the field.
This is probably going to be illegal motion because the motion.
It is.
The motion back that went across the formation was actually moving toward the line of scrimmage at the snap of the football instead of parallel going backwards. So that was an easy call for the official.
The sack puts it back at the 36, where it's 2nd and 17. 42.3 seconds left. Dantzler bought time there, but he just couldn't find anyone. He ran out of real estate. Double wing again. Lewis in the backfield. Dantzler fakes it, keeps it. Shook one tackle, cuts back, shook another tackle. Now is going to be down by the blue shirts at the 45. That's going to run the clock, so that might kill it for St. Thomas Aquinas once he ran it. Clock's on to 25 and counting. Up to the 45 he goes on the gain of 8. Make it 9. It's third down. From the 46-yard line. Third down. And about 7. 12 seconds left. 10 seconds. Dantzler will get it off. Dantzler looking. Dantzler's going to throw it for all he's worth. Jump ball coming and tipped away with 0.9 seconds left. So they have one play left, and they don't have to punt, obviously, so they'll throw one more in all likelihood, unless they've got some sort of trick play.
Exactly. You may try to throw a screen and get a wall of blockers out in front of somebody because you know you're going to get soft coverage in the secondary. So, or you could just give luck a chance, one way or the other, because you're going to get very soft coverage.
0.9 seconds left. Last play, barring a penalty, and it's Dantzler, who's not a quarterback. He's a receiver. They're going to flip him the ball, and he's going to try to run it and do something with it. He's got a long way to go. Dantzler on the run. Dantzler is down, and this game's going to overtime. Well, it's only appropriate, isn't it?
That's right.
Wow.
What an incredible game we have had so far. Other than the penalties, very well played. I mean, that was very unusual with two good football teams, a number of penalties that were inflicted during the course of the game. But we've seen just about everything else during the course of the afternoon. And now it looks like we're getting into evening because it has darkened significantly.
Well, let me tell you, it's darkened. Daylight certainly until 5, so we're safe there.
Right.
Although we haven't really seen the light of day.
No, not today.
Not today.
That's right.
Unreal.
Yeah, what a competition! My goodness, just amazing how well these two teams have played. And
well, I mean,
big plays
it's kind of bittersweet because someone's going to lose.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, I feel this way sometimes, but not a whole lot. I don't want to see either team lose this game. I really don't. Not with the way this game has gone. Not with the way they played or the class acts that are involved in these two programs.
Absolutely. Yeah, I certainly can understand that, but that's the finality of playoff sports. that except for the winners, everybody else is going to end a season with a loss.
Yep.
And that's the finality of the deal. And
yeah, it's too bad.
That's one of the downsides of playoffs in any sport.
So my stat sheet is holding on as best as possible. Promise I'll have a story on this at sportsnola.com when it's over with. Some way or another. Despite this mess that we are dealing with. But that's okay.
Yes, indeed.
It's been an absolute pleasure to be here this afternoon. So the captains will meet one more time at the center of the field.
And the officials will go over the rules for overtime. There'll be a coin toss, and the winner of the coin toss gets to decide whether they want to go on offense or defense, and then the other team chooses a direction. Invariably, you win the toss. You want to go on defense first so that you know what you have to do as an offensive team. You put the pressure on the other team to have to score a touchdown, but you know coming back when your possession what you have to do, and then deciding the direction. If I was St. Thomas Aquinas, I'd want to go in the other direction because we've gotten stopped on the goal line twice going to our right. So if St. Thomas Aquinas has a choice of direction, I would choose going to the left. Okay.
Well, they're still talking. And St. Thomas Aquinas, I think they won the toss, and they're going to give Country Day the ball first, right? That's what I'm looking at. I think that's what they're signaling.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It wasn't very definitive about who won the toss and whether what their decision was, but I think we got it worked out.
I think they're going to go to I think they're going to go to the side of the field that we can't really see. But
exactly. So and once again, if I'm Country Day, that's a direction I want to go in because now. That makes St. Thomas Aquinas go in that direction as well when they get the football, and you've had two goal line stands
in that direction.
On that side.
Absolutely. So it's going to be Country Day with the first opportunity in overtime in a 28-28 game.
And the ball in prep sports gets put at the 10-yard line. And for the first two possessions, if you score a touchdown, you can kick an extra point from the third overtime on. You must go for two after a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And now everybody gets to move over on that end. And happily right now it's a 0 umbrella time.
From the 10-yard line, Gitter behind Carute. Takes the snap, play fakes, throws the fade, incomplete. Off that same rub action.
Yes, it is.
Off the pump fake. We've seen it all day. This time incomplete, intended for Pachagna. So it's second and goal from the 10.
Taking a great shot right off the bat. Now they get right up to the line of scrimmage. You try as a coach to have an order of plays already somewhat programmed in so that there's no hesitation in the next play call.
On second and goal, snap it. Carute to throw, and it's caught by McCall Simons down about the 2. A gain of 8, and it's third and goal from about the 2.
Went to a different receiver that time on the slant. They've been very effective on the slant type of plays, whether it's to the slot receivers or whether it's to the outside receiver. That time going to Simon, getting the ball down to the 2-yard line. Very efficient.
Third and goal from the 2 in overtime. First opportunity for either team is Country Days. Power I formation. Jace Griffin is the deep back. And they're going to run Gitter, and he's not going to get it. Blew him up at the 3, and now it's fourth and goal and a decision for Joe Chango. So Gitter stopped for about a yard loss. Might have gotten the line of scrimmage, but I don't think so.
They line up in that 3-back power I, and instead of giving it to the tailback, which is what you would normally think of, they try to slip the ball to one of the power backs. That's how they scored last time, but not this time.
Yeah, 2.5-yard line, so no loss on the play officially, even though he lost a half yard. And Rick, a timeout call. I cannot imagine them running the ball here. I just don't think they can they can make 2.5 yards on this interior defense.
There's no question it's going to be some type of throw. Now, is it going to be one of the rub routes that they've had some significant success with, or are they going to take Harrell and just match him up on Dantzler and try to beat Dantzler with an inside type of route, a quick slant that they've had some success with? Or is there a special play that Joe Chango has in his bag of tricks? This would be, in my mind, 2-point play number 2. Usually go into a game with at least 2, probably 3 2-point plays, and this would be an ideal situation since they used up one earlier in the game to use their next 2-point play.
It comes down to this, 4th and goal from the 2, and the play will come in after the timeout. Maybe a throwback, maybe the rub route again.
Into the short side of the field is where Harrell is matched up against Dantzler.
Here is Caruth with the snap. Looking, pump faking, throwing. He's got him. Touchdown, Price Patagna. Looked like he came out of the slot.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. They made it look like it was going to be an outside route to the left, and Patagna slipped back to the inside and was wide open, dead in the middle of the field.
So Price Patagna with his 4th catch. It's the biggest one he's had in the game. A touchdown. And now the big extra point forthcoming. Charlie Livaday. Snap, spot, kick is up. And he got it. That was close. Got it over the crossbar, or rather the upright, I should say. And it is 35-28 Country Day. Wow.
Yep, slipped it inside the pipes there as it just got over. Good pressure coming from the left side of the extra point kicking team, but kept his concentration, knocked it between the pipes. Now let's see how St. Thomas Aquinas responds.
That was on a 4th down play. Now St. Thomas Aquinas must score a touchdown. They want to keep their season alive. They'll start from the 10. Here's Dantzler. Takes the snap, fakes it, keeps it right. Dantzler steps around 1, cuts back beautifully. Dantzler marches in. Took him 1 play. Touchdown, Falcons. Now the try for the extra point to extend the game. Took him just 1 play. Cameron Dantzler from 10 yards out.
Ran the buck sweep type of play, faking to the fullback to the left, and both guards pulling to the right with Dantzler following him. Frontside guard kicks out, backside guard walls out, and that's very well done.
And here is Adam Hetzinger for the extra point. He's made all 4 previously. Got to watch the snap and the hold here. Hunter Stanley is the holder. Snap good, spotted down, kick is true. Hit it very well. No problem for Hetzinger. We play on. Tied at 35. Going to a second overtime period.
Would we expect anything else?
No.
That was his best kick of the day. That was a very good operation and really got a good foot on the ball. That was easily his best kick, even though he's been successful 100% of the time on extra points. Now, they get to decide over again. You get a new choice in the second overtime without a coin flip from the third. You have a coin flip after each team gets a decision. They're going down to the other end, and this time Country Day gets the choice. They decide to go on defense, so St. Thomas Aquinas will be on offense again, and St. Thomas Aquinas chose to go down to the other end zone, as we had surmised earlier, where they had somewhat more success. Down is you don't have to stay on the same side of the choices, and it's not automatic that the other team just gets the ball and you go back and forth. You get to choose all over again, and there'll be a coin flip. They go to a third overtime. There'll in fact be another coin flip. So St. Thomas Aquinas from the 10-yard line back on offense as the crowd moves with the players, moving from one end to the other. We have a wave of people going now from our right to our left to get in on the action.
So one more time, and this time the Falcons get it first. Man in motion right. Dantzler takes the snap, and he'll just run that keeper right. Gets the block, bounced it outside, cut it inside, fights his way forward. Dantzler about the 5. Hard to stop with that power run. Harrell made the tackle. 2nd and goal at the 4. He got 6 yards on the play.
So they've attacked the right side. On the right side offensively, the left side of Country Day's defense 2 plays in a row, one with a buck sweep action, this time with the power sweep out of the unbalanced line to the right side. Are they going to keep the ball in Dantzler's hands? Would you want to give it to anybody else at this time?
No. I'll answer that.
Right. I'm right there with you.
2nd and goal from the 4. Dantzler rolling left. He's looking like he wants to throw. He looks, he's in trouble. He cuts inside. Dantzler's athleticism will get him back inside the 5 to about the 3. It looks, I'm kind of surprised they tried to throw there.
Yeah, that.
I'm going to say down to the 2 or the 1. I'm looking at the mark.
3rd and 1.
3rd and goal at the 1. So he got it to the 1.
Yeah, that it looked like he was looking to throw the football. I don't know if he was just trying to let the defense get spread out, then try to find a seam.
3rd and goal from the 1. Well, remember, they've had 2 goal line stands at the 1. Can they do it again? Fantastic game. Maybe the best we've had all year. Dantzler. Low snap, picks it up, cuts in, he's hit, stood up, and he's in. Touchdown. He would not be denied despite the low snap, and St. Thomas Aquinas leads it 41-35. Extra point coming. What a special athlete he is.
What a terrific effort by both teams on that. Met just short of the goal line, and both players, there was a freeze. It could have gone either way, but the athleticism and the determination of Dantzler powered the ball in the end zone. But a great effort by both sides.
Hetzinger for the important extra point. Good snap, good spot, and a good kick, it appears. He got it. Beautifully done by Hetzinger. And now it's on Country Day. 42-35. St. Thomas Aquinas and the Cajuns will start from the 10.
Both teams playing very positively, and it's no more greater example than on those 2 extra points. No doubt about it. Good snap, good hold, positive kicking action, because we watched him warm up before the game, Ken, and we were wondering if the game came down, if he was going to have a tough time.
Yep.
Well, he survived that warm up and has done an exceptional job now. 6 for 6.
And here comes Country Day. Christian Carruth leads them on the field. They lost Chandler Wynn to a knee injury earlier. Backfield with him is Griffin. Carruth the snap. Rolls to the right away from pressure. Throws it outside. And it is caught by Simon. McCall Simon gets it to the 5, where it's 2nd and goal from the 5.
Up, and somebody's down.
And Simon caught the ball.
He's up.
He gets up limping.
So far, they've gone away from Harrell on every one of the plays so far, going to the other members of the team, and we've got a limper.
Simon's got 100 yards in receptions, and he's hurt. And he's probably coming out of the game. At over 400 yards passing for Carruth.
Country Day's done a very good job of spreading the ball around here in the overtime period so that you don't know who's going to get targeted next. Harrell hasn't been targeted one time in the overtime yet. 2nd
and goal from the 5, and Rick, I'll say it now. If they score, I think they're going for 2.
Yeah, I would not. You know my feeling.
Griffin in the backfield. First things first, Carruth the snap. Fakes to Griffin. Rolls right. Carruth looking, buying time. He's going to get crushed out of bounds. I mean, hit really hard. Couldn't find anybody. Didn't want to make a mistake. But now it's going to be 3rd and goal for Country Day from the 4-yard line on the 1-yard run. And McCall Simon will come back on the field.
He's got a little hitch in his giddy-up, but I don't think you you could possibly get him out of there in this circumstance. Nice job by Carruth. His first choice wasn't there after the quick play action. Tried to scramble in the end zone, but good recovery by this STA defense.
At some point, you ask yourself, have you run out of plays to call? 3rd and goal from the 4. Shotgun once more. Carruth rolling left this time. Looking, throwing, and dropped. Simon had his hands on it. Bless his heart. He could not pull it in. And now the game comes down to one play. Now keep in mind, he's limping and he's operating at less than 100%. Might have had something to do with him not catching that ball. That throw was there.
And was kind of falling backwards a little bit, but had the ball right in front of his face. Yeah, there's no question with a timeout now being called by Country Day. I don't think there's any question that when you're talking about a lower leg injury and having to turn your body to be able to try to catch the football, that was an influence on that play.
Comes down to one play. The place is silenced again.
It's amazing how quiet they could get as quickly as they are. But I don't think I know exactly what you're talking about, Ken, that you've pretty much used them all up by this time. So you either come back with something that you've been effective with during the course of the game, and certainly the inside route off the outside look last time was highly effective. It had a couple of rubs that have been very effective as well. Or do you take a shot at your best player against Cameron Dantzler? A lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I got to think Griffin or Harrell, right? I mean, listen, Griffin will line up in the backfield. Can you get him free out of the backfield? Leak him out right or bring him across the formation left. We'll see. Harrell's to the right. Maybe to clear out that way. Stay tuned. Here it is. Ball game. 4th down. Wants to throw. Rolls right. He's looking. He's still looking. He's going to be knifed down, and St. Thomas Aquinas has won the game over Country Day by the score 42-35. What an unbelievable ball game. What an unbelievable finish. What a win for St. Thomas Aquinas. You talk about gut check, and what a very difficult way to lose for Country Day. A brilliant effort by the Cajuns. I really think what I said a couple of moments ago really had some validity. I think they ran out of plays to run, especially with players hurt. I mean, St. Thomas Aquinas had seen everything, and they were the better team up front, no doubt in this game. But the unbelievable game nature and competitive nature of Country Day gave them an opportunity in this game. I'm still convinced that had they scored, they'd have gone for 2 there. But really, what a disappointing ending for Country Day, and what a euphoric win for St. Thomas Aquinas. You talk about hard-earned. Look at Joe Chango congratulating every player after he shook hands with John White.
Absolutely.
Again, mutual respect here. Tremendous respect on both sides. Understandably so. Fantastic game. As I said, maybe the best we've had all year, Rick.
Makes you proud of the coaching profession to see how these two teams acted and how the coaches respect each other. The last play came down to execution, because I think you're right, Ken. You weren't going to fool the St. Thomas Aquinas defense at that particular point, so it just came down to somebody getting open. It looked like they were going to try to get it to Chase Griffin leaking out of the backfield, but he was covered. Carruth wisely tried to get it to the pylon, but an excellent reaction by the St. Thomas Aquinas defense met him at the pylon and was able to knock him out before he got to the goal line. But a beautiful competition. So happy that we had a chance to be here today and bring it to you at sportsnola.com. The first time that we've had a chance to be here for a webcast here, a web stream from Metairie Park Country Day. First time we've been here on this campus, and what a great event this turned out to be.
Tremendous football game. It doesn't get any better than this. 2 unbelievably game teams. And listen, we're accustomed and have done a lot of higher classification games. To see kids that play both ways and leave it all on the field, maximum effort, to see the execution and the conditions we saw today, the level doesn't matter. This was high volume and high quality stuff.
welcome to Louisiana football. This is what sets Louisiana apart. Not just the big schools, but when you look at the single A, double A, triple A schools throughout this state and the caliber of play that they bring to the table every single week, that's what makes Louisiana football special.
And our thanks to Rent Zone for their support of our prep football coverage. For everything from small tools to large earth movers, let the Rent Zone provide what your project needs. Call their boutique office at 985-758-5006 or visit therentzone.net. And we want to remind you that SportsNola.com will have more live playoff football action presented by First NBC Bank next weekend. Be with us here at Sports Nola for more details on the live playoff coverage as the road to the Dome continues. And, of course, for the latest news on high school, college, and pro sports in Louisiana, visit SportsNola.com. In addition to unique opinions from our team of area writers, check out Louisiana's Best Prep Football Scoreboard, sponsored by the All-State Sugar Bowl and the First NBC Bank video updates, all at SportsNola.com. Rick, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for being here this afternoon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what kind of day? We start with the three tailgaters, have a great game like this in the quarterfinals. What a great day this was.
Want to thank Adam Bryant and our crew as well for a job well done. And thanks to Lenny Van Gilder and all of the folks that make it possible here at SportsNola.com. Once again, our final score this afternoon in double overtime from Wenzel Field, St. Thomas Aquinas 42, Country Day 35. For Rick Gailey, now this is Ken Trahan saying thank you for joining us and be a good sport. God bless you one and all. We are rounding third and heading home. So long.